이제 그룹 C로 가보겠습니다.
테란이나 토스랑 하고 싶긴 한데
뽑아줬으면 좋겠어요.
뽑으면 간단 마인드예요.
아 뭐 하면은 상관없는데
저 영재 한번 얘기 좀 들어보고 싶어요.
깨모 형이 먼저 뽑혀갔기 때문에 제 그림은 없어졌고요. 저는 가도 상관없습니다.
제가 원하는 조를 만들긴 힘들 것 같아서 될 대로 되라 마인드예요.
와, 미끄러졌어요. 정영재.
요즘에 토스전이 좀 어렵더라고요. 뭐 저그전 좀 좋아하는 것 같아서 그래서 뽑았습니다.
원하는 사람을 뽑아줄 생각은 없고요. 저저를 싫어하신댔으니까 저는 저그전 좋아하니까 저그를 뽑을 생각입니다.
다른 선수로 우회하느냐인데.
뽑았어요. 자, 김윤재 바로 데리고 왔습니다. 김윤재.
아무데나 들어가도 괜찮을 것 같아요. 시초는 괜찮은 것 같아요. 그게 저한테는 제일 나을 것 같아요. 저는 또 B조 가고 싶습니다.
아, 비조야.
최동희 형님이 원하시는데 제가 갈 순 없죠.
와, 이재동. 자, 이재동 선수 원하는 그룹 C조로 좀 들어가게 됐습니다.
큰 의미는 없고요. 그냥 제일 오고 싶다고 하시길래.
지금 남은 선수들 이재동 선수 전부 다 저그가 남아버렸어요.
저그만 남았어요.
네.
솔직히 저그전만 아니면 저는 좋거든요.
최동희 형은 무조건 피하고 싶고요.
저는 근데 그렇게 생각해요. 찐대동과 짭대동이 만나면 어떨까. 진짜 재밌는 매치가 될 거라고 생각을 하거든요.
그냥 24강 때 그 불리했던 상황도 이기는 거 보니까 절대 안 질 것 같거든요. 민철이 형한테. 민철이 형 데리고 가셨으면 좋겠어요.
제동형 형형 때 제 우상으로서 제 팬으로서 경기를 지켜보고 싶은 마음이 있습니다.
게임만 봐도 존경심의 차이를 알 수 있을 것 같아요. 민철이 형이랑.
이 총신의 향기가 너무 나서 Y정, 우이정으로 둬도 되겠네요. 그렇죠. 예.
앉아 있는 자세들도
자세가
공손해졌죠.
굉장히 공손해지고 지금 손에 모으고
예.
이 상황을 잘 이해하고 굉장히 지금 책략가가 있습니다.
저는 김민철 선수 데려가는 게 나을 것 같아요.
왜?
찐과 짭이 좀 더 높은 곳에서 진짜 다전제로 붙으면 얼마나 또 재밌을까. 그런 또 컨텐츠가 정말 꿀잼 컨텐츠 나올 것 같아요.
결정을 했습니다.
자, 누군가요? 박상현! 김민철! 저그전!
네, 저그 대 저그를 근데 어쩔 수 없이 지금 할 수밖에 없는 상황이라서 박상현 선수랑은 또 같은 대학교이기도 하고
넘어야 될 산이라고 생각하고요. 저그전 해야 우승할 수 있는 거니까 저그전 이번에 잘해보겠습니다.
Today's matchup. 히어로 조일장, 저그, JYG 정영재, 테란, JD 이재동, 저그, SoulKey 김민철, 저그, ASL 시즌 13 16강. 브리법 스튜디오 라이브 ASL에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
나의 레벨은 다르다. 어나더 레벨 하식교와 함께하는 ASL 시즌 16강 C조 경기를 앞두고 인사드립니다. 안녕하세요. 이영경입니다. 지난주 펼쳐졌던 A조와 B조 경기 그야말로 명경기들이 속출했던 조들이었습니다. 이번 주 C조와 D조 경기를 통해서 8강을 채울 선수들이 모두 결정되는데요. 그중에 오늘은 C조 경기를 앞두고 있는 선수들을 만나보려고 합니다. 3조그 1테란의 C조 선수들 만나보시죠. 안녕하세요.
안녕하세요.
네, 반갑습니다. 먼저 시드자 조일장 선수와 이야기 나눠보겠습니다. 안녕하세요.
안녕하세요.
자, 정영재 선수를 선택으로 이렇게 3조그 1테란 조가 완성이 됐습니다. 조일장 선수가 원했던 조에 어느 정도 좀 부합을 하는 조가 만들어졌을까요?
일단 제가 원하는 조는 절대 아니고요. 저는 테란이랑 토스를 원했는데 이제 저그들이 딸려와가지고 정말 싫은 조예요.
옆에 계신 정영재 선수와도 인사를 좀 나눠볼까요? 안녕하세요.
안녕하세요.
조일장 선수의 선택을 투 적으로 대갚아줬다. 이렇게 좀 봐야 할 것 같아요. 저그전만 준비하면 됐을 준비 과정이 좀 어땠나요?
저그전인 건 좋은데 일단 상대들이 너무 세서 마냥 쉬운 조는 아닌 것 같아요.
준비 과정에서 많은 저그 선수들과 연습을 했을 것 같은데 승률은 좀 정영재 선수가 만족할 만한 승률이 나왔을까요?
연습은 뭐 크게 의미 없으니까 별로 그게 만족 못하는 승률이긴 한데 그래도 연습이라서 잊어버렸어요.
알겠습니다. 이재동 선수와도 인사를 좀 나눠볼까요? 안녕하세요.
안녕하세요.
이재동 선수 뭐 군입 때 전에도 워낙 임팩트 있고 포스 있는 모습을 많이 보여주셨어서 저는 이 기록을 보고 조금 놀랐는데요. 8강 진출은 딱 한 번이셨습니다. 그래서 이런 경기력이라면 이번 시즌 8강을 넘어서서 좀 높은 곳까지 기대하고 계시는 분들이 많은데 이재동 선수의 생각은 어떠신가요?
저도 그때 이후로 처음으로 이제 오늘 올라갈 수 있다고 생각을 하고 그만큼 열심히 했기 때문에 믿고 있습니다.
올라갈 수 있을 것 같다는 생각이 드신다고 했는데 그렇다면 오늘 느낌이 좀 나쁘진 않으신가 봐요, 이재동 선수.
경기로 보여드리겠습니다.
알겠습니다. 기대되는 답변까지 들어봤고요. 김민철 선수와도 인사 나눠봐야죠. 안녕하세요.
네, 안녕하세요.
오늘이 오기까지 김민철 선수 어떤 시간들을 보내셨을지 굉장히 궁금해집니다. 늘 좀 중요한 길목에서 저저전에 좀 발목을 잡혔던 김민철 선수가 무려 3조 구조에 속하게 됐습니다. 오늘 시조 경기 앞두고 계신 기분은 좀 어떠세요?
저조전만큼 피하고 싶었는데 뭐 어쩔 수 없다고 생각을 하고요. 그리고 준비를 진짜 많이 했어요. 열심히 준비해서 좀 만약에 지더라도 후회는 없을 것 같아요, 오늘.
오히려 정말 강한 저그들과 함께 있는 이 C조에서 저저전을 극복해주는 모습을 보여준다면 또 김민철 선수의 드라마를 써내려갈 수도 있을 것 같다는 생각이 드는데 동기부여가 좀 되셨을까요?
오늘만 극복해내면은 그래도 좀 자신 있거든요. 그래서 오늘이 제일 큰 고비가 아닐까 싶네요.
김민철 선수에게 큰 산처럼 느껴질 오늘 경기가 될 것 같습니다. 지금부터는 팬 여러분들이 전해주신 질문을 드려볼 텐데요. 자, 먼저 남겨주신 질문에는 이 선수들의 성향도 어느 정도 좀 알아볼 수 있지 않을까 하는 생각이 듭니다. 일단 오늘의 첫 경기는 단판으로 펼쳐지는데 단판에서 가장 중요한 건 어떤 거라고 생각하시는지 좀 물어봐 주셨어요. 먼저 정영재 선수의 생각을 좀 들어보고 싶네요.
저는 운을 많이 따지는 사람이라서 좀 운이 아닌가 싶네요.
뭐 위치적인 운이 될 수도 있고 정찰운이 될 수도 있고 오늘 초반 운이 정영재 선수에게 어떻게 따라줄지 좀 걱정도 되고 기대도 되실 것 같아요.
일단 상대가 너무 세서 운이 좀 많이 따라줘야 될 것 같거든요. 그래서 좀 기도를 해봐야 되지 않나.
이재동 선수는 어떻게 생각하세요? 단판에서 가장 중요한 요소 어떤 게 있을까요? 물론 종족전마다 조금은 다르겠지만
저는 그냥 단판이든 다전제든 실력이 중요하다고 생각합니다.
오로지 실력이다. 두 분이 굉장히 좀 상반된 답변을 해주셨는데 이번에는 또 저그 선수들을 위한 질문입니다. C조가 3명의 저그와 1명의 테란으로 구성되어 있는데 일반적으로 저그가 좀 테란에게 상성상 좀 어려운 종족이기도 하고 저저전은 변수가 또 굉장히 많은 종족전인데요. 테란전과 저저전 준비하기에 어떤 좀 종족전이 부담스러우셨는지 물어봐 주셨어요. 조일장 선수 어떠셨어요?
저는 저그전보다는 테란전이 좀 더 수월했던 것 같고 저저전은 진짜 머리가 많이 아프더라고요. 그래서 진짜 다음에도 저그전은 진짜 하기 싫어요.
16강에서의 저저전이 다 끝이었으면 좋겠다라는 바람을 가지고 계실 것 같은데 김민철 선수도 그러실 것 같아요. 비중을 좀 어떻게 두고 준비를 하셨을까요? 테란전과 저저전.
저는 테란전 연습은 안 했습니다.
안 했습니까?
저조전만 진짜 죽어라 연습을 했고요.
100대 0의 비율로 준비를 하셨군요.
네, 완전 저조전에 올인했고요. 오늘 그러니까 테란을 만나더라도 한 번 만나는 건데 저조전은 이제 여러 번 만날 수 있다라고 생각을 해서 저조전만 좀 준비를 했습니다.
오늘 명품 저저전이 굉장히 기대되는 하루입니다. 자, 다음으로는 각 저그 선수들이 워낙 또 강한 저그 선수들이기 때문에 이런 질문이 올라온 것 같은데요. C조에 속한 상대 저그 선수들의 장점 중 좀 흡수하고 싶은 강점이 뭐가 있는지 물어봐 주셨습니다. 이재동 선수, 김민철 선수와 조일장 선수의 강점 어떤 걸 좀 본인의 것으로 흡수하고 싶으실까요?
너무 많죠. 둘 다 너무 잘해서 일단 뭐 민철이는 수비력? 수비력을 좀 저도 흡수하고 싶고 일장이는 뭐 물량 그 묵직한 물량이 가장 부럽습니다.
두 선수 모두 저거 후반 운영에 좀 굉장히 강한 선수들이기 때문에 이재동 선수가 이런 대답을 해주신 것 같은데 김민철 선수 생각도 좀 들어볼까요?
저는 제동이 형의 얼굴? 네, 일단 제동이 형이 피지컬이 되게 좋잖아요. 저는 제동이 형 그 손이 좀 부러워요. 그 피지컬이 좋은 거 그걸 좀 가져오고 싶어요.
얼굴과
그렇게
손이 부럽다.
손이 그렇게 빠르면은 저도 저조전 잘할 수 있을 것 같은데 그게 안 되더라고요.
또 오늘 김민철 선수가 저저전만 100% 준비해온 만큼 이 부러운 점을 쫙 흡수해 오셨을 수도 있을 것 같다라는 생각이 듭니다. 마지막 질문인데요. 이번에는 각오와 함께 좀 답변을 해주셨으면 좋겠습니다. 오늘 본인의 스타일에 좀 어떤 스타일의 플레이 스타일을 보여주고 싶으신지, 예를 들면 완벽한 플레이를 보여주고 싶다, 섹시한 플레이를 보여주고 싶다, 압도하는 플레이를 보여주고 싶다라는 플레이 스타일과 함께 각오를 한 말씀씩 밝혀주시면 좋을 것 같습니다. 조일장 선수 먼저 한 말씀 해주실까요?
저는 좀 섹시하면서도 완벽한 그런 플레이 스타일을 오늘 보여드리겠습니다.
기대하도록 하겠습니다. 정영재 선수?
저는 좀 막무가내로 하니까 잘 되더라고요. 그래서 그냥 아무 생각 없이 할 생각입니다.
무아지경의 플레이를 보여주겠다. 알겠습니다. 이재동 선수?
저는 그냥 이기겠습니다.
이기는 플레이를 보여주겠다. 김민철 선수의 마지막 각오 말씀 들어볼까요?
저도 뭐 단단하게 해서 이기도록 하겠습니다. 네.
간단하고 이기는 플레이 보여주겠다. 네, 선수의 각오를 끝으로 들어봤습니다. 명경기 기대해 보도록 하겠습니다. 인터뷰 고맙습니다. 자, 이렇게 C조 경기를 앞두고 있는 4명의 선수와 함께 이야기 나눠봤습니다. 과연 오늘 살아남아 8강에 오를 2명의 선수는 어떤 선수가 될지 기대해 주시기 바라면서 지금부터 C조 경기 함께 만나보시죠.
ASL 시즌 서치 Unlimited.
What's up, guys? We're finally here and ready for Group C. This is a very Zergy group with one Terran Hope right in the middle of it, Artosis. Your boy JYJ Artosis. We're going to see if we can get that Terran into the round of 8. But, man, if you're a student of ZVZ, today is your day.
Yeah. We're going to have a minimum of a couple Zerg vs. Zerg matches, possibly even 3, and some of the best Zerg players in the world going at it for that. So, that's pretty good, I guess. And, yeah, Jaedong's playing. But, Tasteless, we're all here for JYJ. Can we get a third Terran in that round of 8?
Dude, I got my fingers crossed for him personally. Of course, me being a fan of Jaedong, I'm also excited to see how exactly is he going to perform today. We've got Hero and SoulKey as well. These are 2 players that could very well just stomp their way through this. I think it's one of the tougher groups to say who actually moves on. And of course, guys, after Group C, in just a day or 2 here, we're going to be doing the recording for Group D as well, which will be Queen, Bisu, Best, and Soma.
Yeah, that's an absolutely insane group as well. And that one's very, very hard to predict, other than Best doesn't have too much of a shot, in my opinion. But yeah, this group is... I think this one's tough too, man. Hero has been... I think Hero's in championship winning form at the moment. And then looking at the other ones, it's well, Jaedong is always good ZVZ and just looks like he's in very good shape in general. SoulKey is maybe the best Zerg overall against Terran and Protoss, but I feel like he lacks in ZVZ, so it's a hard group for him. And then you got JYJ, who I have to say, that game against Soma that he played in the round of 24 was possibly the best straight-up SK Terran game that I've seen. It was unbelievable how strongly he played. So I think he has a real shot of getting out of this group, but it's so hard to predict.
Yeah, it's a tricky one here. I think Jaedong's chances are very good. Hero has always seemed to be very solid in ZVZ. I'm just basing that off my memory of him. I feel like he always performed very well. I think you did make a very important point, Artosis, that SoulKey seems to be extremely good at the other matchups, but then the mirror matchup ZVZ, it doesn't seem to be his strongest suit. JYJ coming into this, he does have this sort of weird prep advantage in that he only has to be ready for one matchup, right? So he's probably just been doing a deep dive of only ZVT to get ready for this. Or TVZ, excuse me.
Yeah. That's for sure, which is going to make him even more deadly here. But the guy he has to play against first here, Hero, Like, really, Hero's been top 4 the last 2 seasons after getting out of the military. Of course, he was a finalist before, losing to Flash in the finals of a previous ASL. Flash has spoken highly of him and regarded him as possibly the best Zerg in the world for quite some time. And I got to say, he looks like it again. Like, last season, I was blown away by how strong he looked, but wasn't quite able to make it. Some of these ZVZ matches he's having on the way and whatnot are knocking him out. But this is going to be an amazing match, because if you match up Hero's just monster ZVT with that Terran versus Zerg that we saw from JYJ in the previous round, there's going to be fireworks.
Yeah, I agree, man. I mean, JYJ is also just an exciting newer Terran to see coming into this. Hero, though, you know, one thing that always strikes me about him is, like, he knows how to, how do I say this, play the safest, easiest, abusivest Zerg style I've seen. Does that make sense, Tastosis?
Okay. Yeah.
Like, I'm very curious to see what he's going to be doing here in this first game here. But Hero, very smart guy. He definitely knows how to win. Doesn't need to be cheesy. We'll pull that out from time to time, but oftentimes just makes Zerg look so smooth, so clean. JYJ, again, I'm really excited to see if we're going to see more of that SK Terran style here as we go into this group. Perhaps we will, as our map is going to be on Vermeer.
Yeah, Vermeer. All right. So, yeah, definitely doable as far as SK Terran goes. In fact, the map might be a little bit too big for mechs. So I think that's what we're going to see for JYJ. And I'm excited, man, because he looked so good before, and Hero is just ridiculously strong in the matchup. This is actually, like, a JYJ against Hero and JYJ against SoulKey. That's what I'm here for tonight, Tastosis.
Yeah,
if JYJ called in 6, so would have I.
Yeah, let's see what exactly JYJ is going to bring here. I do want to point out that since all the Zergs can watch while these games pan out, that, like, there is a possibility that, you know, Jadong and SoulKey can get some insight into the way JYJ's playing. So he's going to have probably a couple of different styles, especially for a group that is often such a slog. You know, round of 16, you got to have a lot of different build orders ready for a lot of different types of opponents. So that's going to be cool as well.
Yes, indeed. You can't... Well, I mean, I guess if you really rely on your mechanics, you could just straight up do the same exact thing every game, but it's going to be hard against these guys because they do have different styles and different strengths. But anyways, we are getting going here. Let's do it.
범위어에서 게임을 시작합니다.
All right.
In the top right here, we have Hero. And the top left, we have JYJ.
Yeah, this is definitely a map that is massive. We've had that insane TVZ on this earlier. I don't know if we're going to have another one like this as well, but I've been kind of blown away by the length of games that Vermeer can give us.
Yeah. Well, I think, you know, I did like Mong's style that he utilized against SoulKey, right, in that previous round. That was a really close match. It was a really cool game here with Mech against SoulKey's just, what was he on, like 8 bases at some points?
It was crazy,
it was pretty wild. But, you know, that's like that's Mech. It's like a lot slower. It's hard to kill your opponent with Mech. So I feel like as JYJ, like, I mean, it could end up being like a Valkyrie opener. I don't think it'll be a Mech game, though. Like, again, you could do it. We saw Mong do it, and Mong was pretty successful, I would say, because I think SoulKey is honestly quite a better player than Mong. But, yeah, I think with JYJ's overall strength, SK Terran is going to be a little bit more likely just that Marine medic play.
Okay, well, I think it's probably what we're going to have here. We've got pool opening first here. And then it looks like it's going to be a hatchery a little bit later. Is that actually that common nowadays to go pool before hatch in this matchup?
No, I mean...
Right?
You know,
this
you
is
have...
not the normal build at all.
Yeah, you have people do it sometimes, and there's different hatchery timings, right? There's 9 pool, which this is not, and then there's like overpool and there's 12 pool. Overpool is not very popular in this matchup, but like if you go 12 pool, it's pretty safe, it's pretty economical, and there are variations of it where you get a quicker layer than a regular 2-hatch play. So if you want to play like a very aggressive Mutalisk style, sometimes that's the way you go. And he might just be doing it because he's thinking, you know what, JYJ has a lot of TVZs to play today. A forward 8 racks or something would not be a bad idea. So this would be a good counter to something like that. But, you know, it looks like it's just a pretty economic, like, 12 pool hatch. I actually wasn't paying complete attention, but that's what it looks like here. And, you know, he's going to run over. He's going to find that it's, yeah, see, the Lings are going to be spotted. And no problem. Like, this is held instantly. He has a wall. There's no issues here for JYJ. And, you know, Hero, it's not the end of the world that he went for a 12 pool.
Yeah, and Terran's just going to plug this up. We're going to have the command center starting to build now. Zerg has immediately taken the 3rd hatchery. This is before layer even starts. The 3rd hatchery over here at the 3 o'clock position. Now, what? That does not also seem to be that standard, but what's the rationale for that here?
Well, that's a hidden base right there.
Right.
Because JYJ is going to get in here, and as soon as you're in here, you know that something's wrong. There's something missing. That gas should already be mining, so he knows that there's another hatch somewhere. Now, are you going to be able to figure out where that hatchery is? Are you going to be able to move out and actually put pressure upon it? Like, obviously, you can put some Sunkens there to help, but I think from here, JYJ, like, the proper play... Oh, God, he's going for the 3 racks right away? Oh, tasteless! This is completely new. This is actually something I've been thinking about a little bit lately, where some of these builds have popped up from Zergs where they'll go pool first into 3 bases, and it's like, it's so greedy. Because you're like sitting there on 4 to 6 Lings, and you're like, yeah, I have 3 bases, and like my layer is like, hi. and you, as a Terran, you're like, oh, I want to punish this so bad, but you know, the 2 racks openers, you don't get that many units, so you have to be a little bit careful. If they mass speedlings or something, you could get in trouble. If they just make Sunkens, then you know, you're not going to break it. But here with a 3 racks opener, which literally no one has done this, like in a pro game. This has not happened since StarCraft Remastered. This hasn't ever happened in ASL or anything like that. This is crazy.
So you're answering actually a lot of the questions I was going to ask anyways, because in my head I'm thinking like, yeah, that's a 3rd base right away. Isn't there something Terran can do to punish that? But then, you know, I'm thinking, man, but the normal 2 racks opening, it doesn't seem like you'd be that safe against Lings. But with a 3rd barracks, you should have the bulk necessary. And by the way, guys, this can look very straightforward, but you'd be surprised how a slight deviation in a build order suddenly changes everything.
Oh, dude, this really changes everything.
Yeah.
Like, look how many Marines he has right now. Like, a 2 barracks academy play at 5 minutes where we just passed, you'll have 8 Marines. Like, look how many Marines he has right now. This is wild. And then he's going to pop out a bunch of medics. And the thing is, like, when you have 3 racks, this many Marines, you can actually walk across the map and kill 3 sunken colonies. If you have range and, like, 3 medics, you will actually smash 3 sunken colonies. So your opponent has to really defend against this.
So JYJ is going to push out right now. He's coming out, and with the number of Marines that is there, it should be a pretty obvious moment here for Hero that this was a 3 racks play. Now, I don't know if that SCV spotted the base at 3 o'clock or not.
Yeah, not entirely sure, but there are 3 sunks being made there. There's 3 sunks being made here, and there's not that many Lings. If he controls this just right, there is a very good chance he could bust.
Okay, here we go. He's going to lead a little bit with the medics. The Marines are going to come in here. The drone drill is extremely good, and the targeting was a bit fragmented there. It's like he got 2 of the sunken colonies down to half health here, and that means the Zerg holds, the Lings hatch. The other sunken colonies are going to finish as this scan comes down and gets a glimpse of that 3rd base. And it seems to me like JYJ is basically locked out of doing any more damage.
Yeah, well, for now, he does have to regroup a little bit. He lost a lot of those Marines. As you mentioned, the drone drill was really fantastic and helped him to hold that. But now look at this, right? He's got 4 medics out there. He's continuing to make Marines. He does have +1 on the way. He does have range on the way. And as that range finishes up, he already has enough bio out here that he can remain on the map. And in fact, like, he forced 6 sunken colonies and killed some drones during that. So Hero's not even making mutas yet. He's actually just redroning. He's trying to get his economy completely online to where he wants it. But that gives some more time for JYJ to possibly get out here and pressure some more.
Yeah, it seems like it. Terran could try to move out once more. And again, if you don't have mutas in the mix, you don't have any really straightforward, easy way to snipe sides. And he's got 2 now, but that's still not going to be enough. And so, you know, this can still be a bit of a threat for the time being. He's going to come out once more, and this is going to force the 4th sunken colony down here. Now, I don't know, because I don't think the Observer's shown us it a little bit, but does he actually have turrets set up in his main?
Yeah, he does have a few turrets already. And honestly, with this amount of bio on the map, you don't need that many turrets. You need enough to just slightly slow the mutas, so if they hit your base, you counterattack. And that's what he's waiting for, but Hero is not biting. He is dogging this army right now, and like he's just kind of building up his Mutalisk force. He wants to be able to knock these down, because if he leaves with those mutas, the 4 Sunkens can get busted by this.
Yeah, and so he's being pretty cautious about not, you know, getting too close to these Marines, but the Marines also, they don't want to commit too hard on any of these bases until he really sees those you know, mutas are really attacking him. They're actually going to come up here now, and one feature about bases that have this shape where the minerals are kind of hugging this ledge behind that is it's a very good launching pad for attacks from the mutas.
Yeah, and look, already 3 turrets taken out. The SCV is going to start to suffer as well. And a little bit slow by JYJ. The 5th Sunken is ready. It looks like he has just enough that this is complicated. Like, do you attack in here as JYJ? Because if you lose that bio to those Sunks, you're really in a bad spot. But if you bust them, you are going to be good to go. And he stims in here. Targets down the 2 hurt ones right away. But it's pretty clear with the mutas coming back that he has to get out of there.
Yeah, and I think this number might be small enough that these mutas can just one by one pick off these Marines, and that's exactly what's going to happen. He does target, though, a couple of these. And, dude, honestly, I almost feel like the Zerg had a bit of a bad read there for a second when he just plopped down over them. Like, he didn't micro that at all. I think he was a bit too confident in how much damage he could do there. So he traded out the bulk of his Mutalisks in that process.
Yeah, he did. He did. You know, looking at the position, though, even though he lost all those mutas, I think that Hero's fine. This is actually a pretty close game still. You know, we're getting up to 5 barracks production here for JYJ. There's his 2nd engineering bay, going to continue forward with those upgrades. And, of course, vessels in production now. Whereas with Hero, I'm pretty sure he's going into Crazy Zerg from here. And he has 3 gases, and he already has a bunch of Sunken. So... oh, no, never mind. Okay, he is going into Defiler and Hydra. I saw the Evolution Chamber at the other base, so I was thinking he might just go directly to Ultras, but yeah, we're kind of getting to the point where this game is just going to get longer.
Yeah, it seems like it. I mean, Terran can't kill the Zerg right now, but the Zerg doesn't have any real easy points to attack here for the Terran. I mean, we see him hitting that natural, but there's not much else other than that. So Consume's going to be upgraded here at the Defiler Mound, and we're going to be having Dark Swarms coming in here in just a little bit.
Yeah, and with the Lurkers coming out and everything, he's going to be so safe. And, like, I'm trying to figure out where he's going to take his 4th. Like, he might take the base in between his 3rd and his natural, or maybe he'll try to take the bottom right. But that's obviously going to be the next point of contention here, is Hero trying to get that 4th base up while JYJ brings these vessels out and continues to pressure. Oh, but he throws down 2 macro hatches in the main base. This is a growing trend right now, where Zergs are not necessarily going all out for getting that 4th base really, really quickly. Like, Terrans have gotten very good at kind of slowing that down. So, and this is something that kind of developed on Eclipse, I think, because it is so hard to take that 4th base. But adding the 2 macro hatches when you're already getting carapace upgrades, we're going to see a really big army fielded out of Hero, which is going to be able to either push the bio ball back or do some counterattacks so he can get his 4th up.
Yeah, I guess the idea with throwing those macro hatches down is that you don't really want to give them a target, right? So just sort of stay back and power up, because truly, as long as you can get the Terran to stay off of a third base in the long run, you're going to be fine. Instead, get the macro hatches down, get a lot of Zerglings, get the lurkers out. And by the way, I think it's 3 Evo chambers, unless I didn't see that correctly.
It's at least 2. I'd be pretty surprised if it's 3. Then that means
I thought I saw
know
a third,
what that means.
And so if he has 3, that's pretty wild because 2 is normal, but like 3 is almost like you're playing a PVs or a ZVP or something like that.
Yeah, carapace upgrades or melee attack upgrades rather normally don't matter that much for this
Okay,
matchup.
then I think I just made it up in my head. I thought I saw a third Evo, but maybe it was actually just a different building that was making. So Terran's got to contain right now just outside of the Zerg's natural. And he's going to irradiate the Defilers and a Lurker.
Yeah, it's just keeping that pressure on really nicely. Another Radiate going down there. And, I mean, this is exactly how you want to play by JYJ. And he already showed us a lot of strength playing like this again when he played against Soma. He's starting to send some Marines down to the other bases. He's got to keep an eye on where Hero is going to plan to take that fourth. But Hero, again, with those 2 macro hatches, his supply is low right at this second, but look at that bank. He's going to start pumping out a lot of units here.
Yeah. +2 attack here. The roaming from the Terran is very scary. We are kind of seeing the ramifications right now of the fact that the Zerg didn't expand a little bit quicker, is that you don't have that much movement or locations to spawn things from. In fact, the drone just snuck down into the bottom right, but I think this force of infantry is going to come down there and get that too.
And now a Defiler coming out. This is an attempted backstab attack to try to buy some time, getting out here with some Dark Swarm, but of course JYJ sitting right there is not going to have any problems throwing that Irradiate down. You know, it's like one of the chief Zerg tactics for trying to get their fourth up. If they can get a Dark Storm in your natural, it's so dangerous, you have to put so much attention into it, that it generally allows them to get that fourth base up.
Yeah, it makes sense. Terran is... Does Terran ever want to stop going for this bio comp? I mean, we've seen these games where, like, people throw down, like, a lot of factories and start making tanks and weird stuff like that. Is this going to be one of those games, or is it actually better to just kind of lean into the bio and the vessels and try to play it in that kind of a game?
Well, it's kind of a stylistic preference, but we've already seen when he added the second engineering bay, that was a statement that he's staying on bio for the whole game. Because otherwise you'll just stay on one eBay and get like +1/+1 or just +2 to go into your mech later. And I mean, it's doable, but it can be hard on such a big map, I think, to make that work out. But JYJ has shown us in the past, and it is trendy anyways, to go for battle cruisers with the bio. So I wonder if he's going to do that here, because this map, definitely a very, very big one. The bases are far apart, so it's a little bit harder to make battle cruisers work here, but they still might be a strong option.
Yeah, you're seeing when the Terran has the initiative here, it's really hard for these Defilers to get anywhere to either Dark Swarm or playing anything of value. You know, they get basically irradiated the moment they step off the creep. By the way, big win here for JYJ. He kills that drone in the bottom right. And this means Zerg's still, for the time being, on 3 bases. There is a 4th one being made right now, and probably the safest location that it could be. It's in between the main and that early 3rd base location.
Yeah, and now Ultra's starting to come out here as well. And also JYJ floated his science facility way far forward, which I'm not too surprised about. But basically, he has signaled absolutely how he's playing this game. Like, Hero should know exactly how to play this. In Plague, yeah, see that there? This is the answer. Because JYJ floating out the factory and floating out the science facility for scouting intel shows that he is literally just staying on drop ships if he makes any science vessels and marine medics. So right now, it's all about grinding that down.
Yeah, this is that classic SK Terran style. Notice that these irradiated Marines, he kind of hurls them into the fight because that irradiate does deal damage to anything bio. That includes Terran Marines and medics.
Yeah, and this is a little bit tricky on both sides because now that Ultras are out, you want to have your units clumped together because you need a really large amount of bio to actually deal with those Ultras. But when it's clumped together, that's where Plague is really good. So it's a little bit of a balancing act here. And of course, your vessels need to be flying around and raiding everything, and that's where the plagues really need to hit. If you can reduce those vessel counts, it'll get really hard for JYJ to keep this game together.
Yeah, the more vessels that stay alive in this game, the more difficult it's going to become for the Zerg. I mean, 75 energy is a very, very cheap and quick to regen here. So you're going to have irradiates coming out all the time. And what the Terran wants to do over time is go for these high-value targets like your Defilers, your Ultralisks, and your Lurkers. And so if we keep seeing this vessel count go up, I mean, he's getting close to 12 already here. It could get pretty bad here for the Zerg. By the way, it looks like JYJ is about to break this position. Is there a Nidus under our... No, there's actually nothing under the Darkstorm. Excuse me, just a Ultralisk here. So this base goes down, and all that JYJ has to do is basically keep doing just this.
Yeah.
Keep the Zerg on
He's playing
on 3
a
bases.
beautiful game, isn't he? Like, this is... You can see that macro skill. It's so awesome. Like, he has so many vessels right now just roaming about. He's got 3-2 upgrades. Like, he's losing some stuff here and there, but that's always going to occur. So really some fantastic macro play with this SK Terran once again from JYJ.
And using the Eraser, man. Just setting that vessel in there with the Irradiate on it and just making the drones at least retreat from that position. Excellent stuff. By the way, Zerg has actually snuck quietly into the bottom right once more, and I don't know if Terran's looking there.
Yeah. Oh, I think something just flew down there, but didn't see the hatchery. Maybe saw the Lings, but yeah, I don't think he saw... Okay, a few units coming up, but the Lings can actually deal with those. It's getting more and more important right now for Hero to actually put something together and actually get another base up. Like, it's really hard to fuel all of these Defilers and Ultras when you're only on 3 gas, right? That's why that 4th gas is so critical, and I think he's already lost so many gas-heavy units. Like, look at his bank right now, Tasteless. He's got 100 gas and 1,500 minerals, and I tell you, against bio forces this big, the Lings don't do that much.
Yeah, you know, a 4th gas would have made a huge difference right now for the Zerg. You are starting to see, you know, all those Irradiates kind of add up. These Marines can be replenished so quickly. And, oh my god, that's 3 Defilers. Dude, if he got that, that would be huge.
Yeah, I think he's going to get it, Tasteless. Like, Hero is starting to fall apart a little bit here. He's only at 80 supply. You can't really be attacking on that. He's hitting a few good plagues here and there, but honestly, I think that this game, and we see this from time to time, I think he just went Ultras too quickly. He made like 5 or 6 Ultras on 3 gas while he's still going Defilers and wasn't quite able to get any value out of them. And then it's just like Irradiate City everywhere.
Yeah, dude. And you know, we don't see that many Ultras. We have a couple Defilers here, but this map is so massive and open, you could just run to the next area. And I almost feel like this is probably the killing blow. I mean, Zerg is probably just going to have to tap out. There are so many vessels in this game, and they're not falling that quickly. And look at this. He can even just do the Eraser right over here on this natural. Terran on 4 bases, Zerg on 3, and I don't see a 4th base for the Zerg anytime soon. And I also don't see any opportunities, really, that the Zerg has to do any damage to the Terran on their side of the map.
No, certainly not. Like, and look at the supply as well, right? The number that I'm always throwing around when Defilers is out is 70. If they drop below 70, they're just basically straight dead at that point. Before then, they can kind of hold on 3 base, but you can't get active on the map at all. So right now, Hero really is on his very last legs.
Yeah. You know, the infantry keep pushing forward here just north of this. Here it is now. We're seeing this... just this onslaught of Marines just wiping everything out. And I gotta say, man, JYJ came here with a very, very clean SK Terran style, very mechanical, just kind of went and strong-armed Hero, GG, and that means JYJ did it. He won.
Yeah, he goes on to that winner's match, and of course, Hero has to get out of that game. I do think that this is like a slight flaw. Like, JYJ showed exactly what he was doing, which is mass vessel, mass bio. There was no switches into any other sort of tech, so he's going to be fielding gigantic amounts of both vessels and Marine Medic. So I think it was too quick into the Ultras. There wasn't enough utilizing, you know, Plague grinding down everything, and and try to reduce vessel counts. Instead, Hero tried to muscle his way back. And I don't think you muscle yet until you're on 4 bases, Zerg.
I agree. I think that Hero played a very tight game and tried to play it a little bit safe, trying to avoid the trials and the difficulties that Zerg have sometimes in mid-game by getting the 4th later, but then he never got it up, and without that 4th, you don't have any options. Guys, short break. We come back, a best of 1 between Jaedong and SoulKey. You don't want to miss it. We will be right back.
힘들어도
어려워도 이렇게 멈추면 내가 아니지.
오늘이 뭐야?
새로운 날을 만든다.
나의 레벨은 다르다. 어너더 레벨 핫6.
어려워도 이렇게 멈추면 내가 아니지. 오늘이 뭐야? 새로운 날을 만든다. 나의 레벨은 다르다. 어너더 레벨 핫6.
아침은 라떼, 홀리 점심은 라떼, 홀리 저녁은 라떼, 홀리 풍부하게 달콤하게 라떼 홀리. 달달한 충전이 필요할 땐 칸타타.
ASL Season 13 Unlimited.
Thanks for waiting, everybody. We're back, and it's time to go to the ZVZ. And dude, I'm so hyped that Jaedong has returned. He's here in this ASL. You know, we don't have Flash this time, but every time one pro goes, another one comes back in to fill that spot. And, you know, just for me growing up as a kid, I was always super excited to watch Jaedong's games. And I'm very curious to see how far he can get in this ASL. You know he's hungry for it.
Yeah, he definitely is. Very emotional when he did make it up to this round. He's been working very, very hard to get his skills back, which is great to see, and he's looked fantastic. Honestly, I think he's favored here against SoulKey, but it is best of 1, so who knows? And I think it's not, like, Jaedong could go very far this season. I have a hard time seeing him in a best of 3 beating JYJ Rush or Light, but I could see him beating everyone else.
Yeah, I think you're right. SoulKey, you know, again, he might get out of this group. It's hard to say. I think if SoulKey does win here, I think he's going to be the biggest threat in the group to JYJ, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I think
totally.
JYJ could probably beat Hero again. I think he could still beat Jaedong again. Yeah.
No, SoulKey's the best Zerg at battling against Terran and Protoss. Like, he takes better fights than everyone else put together. It's crazy. Honestly, if there were no other Zergs in ASL, I think SoulKey would have already won a couple of them. I'm not.
Yeah, I think you're probably right about that, man.
I honestly do put him as, like, possibly the best in both the other Zerg matchups. Like, I actually prefer his play to everyone else's, ZVT and maybe ZVP as well. But anyways, yeah, no, he's a badass. But yeah, I think Jaedong is a bit scarier for this matchup. But best of 1, Tasteless. Best of 1 ZVZ. I want to say even I could beat Jaedong best 1 ZVZ, but if he knew who I was, absolutely not. Like, wait, this bad Terran player from America? No. He just goes
that guy that yells at his
viewers
viewers on his stream, that guy, like... Jaedong's like, I will never in a million years lose to that guy. Like,
he'll open up with like a sunken first. It'll be so bad. But maybe if he thought I was good, I could catch him off guard, you know?
All right, we're going to be back on Vermeer for our second game of the evening. The winner does go on to face off against JYJ. The loser faces off against Hero, so there's nobody who'd really be excited to face on the other side, man. This is a tough group, a very Zergy group here. We're going to be doing a deep dive of ZVZ here today, and it's going to start with this matchup now, Jaedong versus SoulKey.
All right, let's get into this and see who's going to be fighting against JYJ. And, of course, whoever loses here has to go up against Hero, who's gotten caught for the last 2 times. So that is brutal either way.
Yeah, man. Big 4-player map. You know, there's going to be I don't know. I look forward to some ZVZs today. I do hope we get 1 or 2 long ZVZs. You know, like I'm talking, who knows, dude? Maybe a third base ZVZ? What?
Tasteless. You silly man. That's never going to happen.
Never going to happen. You got to believe, Artosis. You got to believe, dude. All right, finally, we are ready to start this game, guys. This is Jaedong versus SoulKey. Let's go.
범위호에서 게임을 시작합니다.
So we have Jaedong in the bottom right. And in the top right, we have SoulKey.
So we got to cast some of Jaedong's games before his military service, and obviously that was super fun to see. I'll never forget that game where he Hydra busted Flash. And
I know, that was
super
cool. That was the iconic one between those two. Yeah.
And I feel like then the last time we really casted Jaedong in a major match was probably one of the BlizzCon finals a long time ago, right?
Well, don't forget he did get the runner-up trophy in KSL, right, against Last.
Oh, right, of course. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
What am I saying? But I guess I was thinking for StarCraft 2, because there was this period where we casted him in StarCraft 1, and then he was in StarCraft 2, so we got to cast him there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll never forget that.
That's right.
BlizzCon finals with him versus SOS in StarCraft 2 were basically everybody knew that if Jaedong won the BlizzCon finals, the World Finals, that like there's a very high chance StarCraft 2 blows up in Korea. So we were kind of like, oh man.
Yeah, I remember this.
Our selfish reasons, like everybody at Blizzard, you and me were like, man, we really hope Jaedong wins this. And then SOS just like did his crazy cheese stuff and won. We're like, all right, that makes sense.
Yep. Well, that's SOS for you, man. It's like whatever you want, it does not matter because SOS has his own plans.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, that was an epic year for Jaedong. He's actually he was like, I think as far as the WCS points went, he was like the overall leader that year because he just like he got second place in like 8 tournaments or something. It was kind of crazy. He was having a hard time finishing anything off, and then got second in the World Championship. What a moment that would have been, though. The best Zerg ever from Brood War becoming the world champion in StarCraft 2 would have been epic.
Oh, it's crazy, man.
And as good as Jaedong was in StarCraft 2, by the way, we do have to mention SoulKey's a GSL champion. So he was no slouch in StarCraft 2 as well.
Yeah, these two Zergs did not have a hard time in StarCraft 2 either. Let's just put it like that.
The best are the best.
Yeah, I guess the two most dominant players that went from StarCraft 1 into StarCraft 2 for a little bit were probably SoulKey and Rain, just for the results they got. But Jaedong and a few others weren't that far behind. And then there were some players that just either never switched back or never switched to StarCraft 2 at all.
Yeah. And it's been kind of a fun ride to see that people jumping around back and forth, deciding which game they like or want to play. And it's nice to have Jaedong back in Brood War, though. It feels correct, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, it was super cool when he was playing StarCraft 2, but he didn't go all the way there. I don't know. I mean, Jaedong, for me, I always think of this guy in the Muta Micro that he was pulling off, and some of these crazy videos of his Mutas going after, like, a whole bunch of plagued vessels and killing, like, 8 of them in a couple seconds. Like, but in this game, we have Jaedong. He went for hatchery first, and he's actually morphing his lair over here at his natural. We had a reversal opening here for SoulKey where he went for pool and a gas and then got his natural hatchery a little bit later after that. What do you think about the fact that the layer's being made over at the nat versus the main? Does it just not really matter?
Well, I think he did that just because the Overlord was in the main base at that moment. The only other thing I could think is it gives it more health, but it doesn't seem like... It seems ridiculous to think that he might almost lose the hatchery but then win because the layer was there. You know, it's like it's a little bit too much. So I think it was just to give disinformation to the Overlord.
Yeah, makes sense. Buying a little bit of extra time there can be pretty handy. Now, there's no speed upgrade here for Jaedong's Lings yet. SoulKey's Spire is a little bit ahead. There's one sunk over here for SoulKey, whereas Jaedong's continuing to make Lings, and I don't know if this is going to be hatching, more Lings hatching in a second here, and that speed upgrade is just around the corner, but you got to be careful. Now, Ling positioning is so important in ZVZ. So he has some Lings in the back in case Jaedong goes around and some in the front here. And he's just going to run right in and try to kill off, almost kills off 2 drones.
Yeah, he ends up losing 2 Lings and taking an additional hit on another Ling. But yeah, he does get the drone. He causes some lost mine time. Almost got another drone there as well. And Jaedong is continuing to rally out Lings, but of course SoulKey knows that. His Overlord sees what's coming out of that base.
Okay, the Overlord's on the outside here, just monitoring this, and Jaedong's getting his second gas here. Now, I feel like SoulKey may be in a better position slightly unless this Ling attack works. He's going to try to come in here. He does actually target down another drone.
Oh, I don't think this attack from Jaedong is going to work, honestly. Like, he's put some damage on the Sunken, and now the Lings of SoulKey are just, like, massacring him. You know, the extra damage from the Sunken as well as the tankiness of it, that just did not seem like the right move from Jaedong.
Well, SoulKey's come out. He doesn't have Ling's speed, so he can't really chase this down or take a fight that he wants, but mutas are hatching. And, I mean, SoulKey did have a drone or 2 snipe there, right? So, I mean, that does hurt a little bit. You know, you're not ever working off of that many workers in a game of Brood War. But how safe is the natural over here?
Well, as his mutas and some Scourge pop out, seems like Jaedong is fine here. The muta's going to try to fly in. Oh, going for some drone snipes here. Doesn't quite get him, but puts a bit of damage down.
Good thing
Link's coming in from the other side. Oh my god, look at this. SoulKey going for maybe a kill move here. Bringing all of his mutas to bear. Some Scourge coming down as well.
Yeah, and I think he got that muta count pretty low. He's able to snipe some drones here with these Zerglings.
Yeah, it seems Jaedong does have a higher mutalist count just barely here, and it might get even higher now since those are such low health mutas. More Scourge come in, though. Oh, that Jaedong micro. He snipes one of the Scourge. The other one does end up connecting. Loses all of the drones at his natural. Unfortunately, the SoulKey Lings being split up into the main and natural now.
Okay, the Lings are going to come in here and try to snipe some drones. He does a decent job actually defending here. Doesn't lose too much more with that. And I'm like, now we see exactly why that layer's been made. Tastosis there. That Ling wasn't able to kill it in time. So, you know, where is Jaedong at? I think he's got 6 mutas. What about SoulKey?
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. The one thing I do like about SoulKey's position a little bit here is that he does have that Sunken. So Ling counterplay from Jaedong isn't quite as strong as it is from SoulKey. But yeah, the mutalist count is going to be what's very, very important here.
And they're both mining from their extra gas. I don't know if there's an upgrade being made on either side, but that could be make or break in a situation especially like this one. Now, SoulKey seems to want to go for a fight possibly before that upgrade at the Spire could finish here. This number of Scourge, if they can connect with the mutas as the target, if he could, like, force him into a corner of the map where you can't really run away, that would be pretty big.
Yeah, there's more mutas here for Jaedong, but there's more Scourge for SoulKey. This feels to me like it's just slightly Jaedong favored. And look, his Scourge actually gets some decent connections, it looks like.
Yeah, they are connecting on their targets, but this is 8-6, I believe, with a set of Scourge coming in here, and they hiccup for a second, so I think he can just go in here and pursue.
Yeah, it looks like he's actually making a beeline right now for that main base. More Scourge coming out here for SoulKey. Jaedong, though, not getting too greedy. Goes after an Overlord. Gonna turn around. Oh, bringing his mutas back for a little bit of a fight, but SoulKey does have some reinforcements coming up as well. Both sides sniping a lot of Scourge.
Yeah, a lot of those mutas for SoulKey extremely bruised here. Some of them only a few muta shots away from being killed, and he's going to actually come here and try to hit the drones. Now, there's nothing mining minerals, but he can take out the drones mining gas. But does he get sandwiched?
Scourge actually just hit an Overlord, Tastosis. Do you think he meant to do that? He did get a supply block?
I think he did.
You think he meant to?
Maybe.
Well, there is a supply block, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it would be a very circumstantial moment, but if you can get that supply block up, that's all you need. Now, I think he wants to go in here and try to attack in once more. He's going to make one Spore over here at his natural, since that's the easiest spot to be attacked into here. And now SoulKey could try to wipe out these Overlords here on the outside.
Dude, but look at the supply. It's like a 10 supply advantage for Jaedong. CBZ, that's supposed to be game, you know?
Yeah,
like,
it would seem
the
like
fact that
it.
he's making a spore, and it seems good for Jaedong.
And I think that there's really no opportunities right now here for SoulKey. He's got a lot of Scourge, but we got to go back to all those drones that were picked off throughout this game. In fact, some of the supply difference, I think, is literally in the drones.
Mm-hmm.
So he could probably come up here. He's got a lot of Scourge. He always seems to be about 2 to 3 mutas ahead.
Okay, they both have 9 mutas right now, if I'm not mistaken. SoulKey just pops them out. So I guess this might just come down to a micro battle right here.
Well, I mean, if SoulKey tries to take the fight, there's a Spore here, which is going to protect the 4 or 5 drones that are actually mining in this position.
Look at this. He actually ran the Lings underneath and then clones those Scourge, but no, it looks like some nice micro from SoulKey does prevent that from doing the damage. Jaedong going for a bit of a counter. Now, there is that Spore, as you mentioned, which is going to actually force him away.
Dude, he could
Is that enough for Jaedong?
He could actually do a huge trap over here. He's got the Yuta's having to try to shoot. Oh my god, the Lings are going to connect over here into the main killing drones. Oh, I think Jaedong's about to win this game. Dude, there's hardly any drones left.
Dude, there's a million Scourge coming for Jaedong right now. Is SoulKey going to be able to do this? His mutas are getting some moving shots, and Jaedong can't really turn around because there's so many Scourge following him. But yeah, the drones all dying here in the main base.
No, I think Jaedong wins. I think he's killed enough of the workers. I think the Spire's actually going to almost die before these mutas get there.
Well, more Speedlings into that main base. Yeah, I think you're right. This has to be just about it. You're not mining much gas. There's not many drones left over at this point. Whereas Jaedong's economy has barely been touched this game.
Yeah, and really this came down to the drones. There was a lot of back and forth fights here, but ultimately it was when the drones started to thin out that really interferes with everything. And another huge supply block. Remember, no Spore here for SoulKey. Probably couldn't even make an Evo Chamber to Spore if he wanted to with how low his drone count is.
Yeah. He does have a lot of Scourge, though, Tastosis. Those only cost 25 minerals, so no problem.
And he'll just go for the Overlords on the outside here.
Oh, my God. Yeah, this is really coming to a head now. We are going to see this game decided pretty quickly. If SoulKey hits with all of his Scourge, I could see him possibly still taking this, but that's about what he needs to have happen. It does not seem likely. Look at this. He's just like, these Scourge are not turning around. And he does get a connection there.
Yeah, and I think he's going to have enough mutas coming up here that he can just come in and snipe whatever else is left over. I mean, oh, and there it is, Tastosis, the third base. I'm getting what I wanted, man.
Well,
the dream is
third
real.
base is like, that's the statement of, all right, SoulKey, everything is your problem now.
Yeah. You can see that Jaedong doesn't want to back off from massing mutas either. It's kind of crazy he even managed to get out a Spore in the midst of all of this.
Well, it seems like he managed his economy a little bit better throughout, and his aggression, like, there wasn't really much SoulKey aggression. There was only the counterattack after that kind of weird attack from Jaedong, but Jaedong's mutas came out just in time to kind of save the day.
And with this little Scourge scout here, you know, it's very revealing for Jaedong when you see, like, basically no drones mining there. They all have to be at the natural. Also, SoulKey has lost so many Overlords in this game. He doesn't have anything to really spot outside of his base. I guess the same could be said here for Jaedong. But I think Jaedong is just going to safely sail this position into a win.
Yeah, well, he's the one with the third base on the way, and he does have some scouting going on. So, like, literally, he can just sit here, and SoulKey will lose the game.
Yeah. This is just a get more ahead move.
Yeah, all the burdens here are on SoulKey. Like, he has to move out, he has to get something done. And there's no real way to do it. He's so far behind. And look at that, Jaedong just going for the kill now. SoulKey knows he has to come out. A million Scourge fly around, but at the end of the day, Jaedong is just too far ahead.
Yeah, Jaedong can start to use the moving shot here to keep picking off these mutas. We're going to have GG in a second, as this is the final fight, one that SoulKey can't win, and so Jaedong is going to be moving on into the winner's match.
Yeah, and look at this. Jaedong is putting out full effort the entire time. Even though this game is over, like, he could literally just turn and kill those Scourge, but he's micring his absolute heart out, showing how, like, dedicated he is to winning here. And SoulKey's gonna have to GG. Jaedong goes on to the winner's match against JYJ.
Impressive stuff. You know, Jaedong, very good, especially the mid-game and on. It was kind of funny because there were these moments I thought he wasn't going to be in good shape, but he like sent those lings in and picked off a drone or two here or there. Didn't seem to be a big deal, but then another drone or two were picked off again, and it's like, oh man, SoulKey really can't recover from this, can he?
No, he certainly could not. And again, this is something that I really want to drive home with SoulKey. ZVZ is a hindrance to him. I mean, a lot of Zerg players are really good at the other matchups, and then in ZVZ, it's just very difficult for them to, keep their head above water.
All right, well, Jaedong moves on, but I think JYJ is going to be a very different beast. I am so curious to see if Jaedong's ZVT is going to look old school, new school. Is it going to be something completely out of left field? Does he have any creative cheeses? What do we expect?
Yeah, it's a little bit hard to say. I've seen a little bit of Jaedong's TVZ. It definitely looks strong. But, I mean, JYJ looks like he can beat anyone in the world right now. So, I do think it's a bit JYJ favored. We're going to go to a quick commercial break, guys. When we come back, Jaedong versus JYJ.
힘들어도
어려워도 이렇게 멈추면 내가 아니지.
오늘이 보여.
새로운 나를 만든다.
나의 레벨은 다르다. 어너더 레벨 핫6.
스타크래프트 리그 깡는 깡콩깍지 깡콩깍지는 점프하라고요? 드래콩깍지 깡는 깡콩깍지야. 깡콩깍지냐 깐콩깍지면 어떠냐? 아프리카 TV가 진행하는 스타크래프트 리그 ASL 시즌 13이 많은 관심을 받으며 진행 중입니다. 아프리카 TV가 진행하는 스타크래프트 리그 ASL 시즌 13이 많은 관심을 받으며 진행 중입니다. 이게 성공이에요.
난 이거 언어 능력에서 밀리겠는데? 글 읽다가 끝나겠는데?
뭔데? 아 여기 나 단축키 달라.
이거 단축키 뭐지? 어려운데? 빨리 들어가라고.
파세야 많이 들었지. 너무 어렵다 이거. 무조건 1등이죠. 크게 들어야 되는구나. 생각보다 어렵네. 뭐야, 끝인가? 이게?
네, 이렇게 시간이 다 지나면 끝이라서.
아, 시간이 그렇게 빨리 됐어요? 자존심 싸움이네. 여기 너무 느렸다. 단축키. 단축키.
15초 남았죠.
12? 15초 몰라? 저기 노란색 있잖아. 나 눈이 안 보여.
2, 1, 24. 졌어.
아니 내 장비였으면 그냥 했다. 진짜 단축키 때문에 그래 이거.
감도 탓이
어떻게 이리 느리지?
그 사람이 잘 못해도 되지 않나요?
나 말했지만 조정이는 못한다.
아씨 안 돼. 공학.
와, 놀았나?
잘했나요? 한 번만 더 해보면 안 되나요? 왜 안 돼? 망했다. 빨리.
한거 아니야?
끝난 거야? 공동 1등이요? 현재랑 공동 1등. 솔직히 근데 못할 줄 알았거든요. 1등이라니까 다른 사람이 더 못하나 보네요.
이게 제 장비가 아니어가지고 제 장비였으면 무조건 1등 했을 것 같은데.
왜냐면 이게 단축키 때문에 제가 분명히 시간을 뺏겼거든요.
제가 이런 게임 처음 해봐가지고 어차피 게임 실력이랑은 상관이 없는 거니까.
쟁쟁한 선수들도 많아가지고 좀 쉽지 않을 것 같은데 언제나 잘했던 것처럼 이번 시즌도 잘 해보겠습니다.
많이 힘들 수도 있겠지만 좋은 결과로 8강으로 올라가도록 하겠습니다. 열심히 해서 시드까지는 한번 노력해보겠습니다.
이번 16강에는 좋은 성적 거둘 수 있도록 열심히 한번 해보겠습니다. 감사합니다.
Welcome back, everyone. It's time for the TVZ of the evening. Is it going to be our last? Or is JYJ going to lose and we'll get another TVZ? Because if he wins, man, JYJ wins, it's ZVZ from here on out.
Oh, boy. Well,
Boy.
I'll be happy either way, honestly. Like, another Terran in the round of 8 or another best of 3, it's all good. But Jaedong against JYJ, I mean, this is a big test for Jaedong. If Jaedong can beat JYJ, he actually has real potential to win this season. Like, I'm not blowing smoke up your ass here. Like, JYJ's TVZ is as good as what we've seen is it's basically as good as Lights and Rushes. Okay, so he's a monster in this right now. By the way, do you know what JYJ stands for?
I don't. What does it stand for?
Jaedong Y Jaedong.
It's Jaedong, yes, Jaedong is what it stands for.
Jaedong, yes, Jaedong. Yeah, that's better. I should have said that.
We're going to start the best of 3 out on Metaverse. Again, I'm so interested to see what kind of style Jaedong is going to play. Is he going to lean into that old school style that he had so much success with in the years, or is he going to try any of this new kind of crazy modern stuff we see here in ZVET? And again, here for JYJ, I think we're going to have a lot of SK Terran play. I think he wants to just straight up power his way through this group.
ASL 시즌 13 전투 준비 완료.
As it pleasing to me that it's seeking for you. Tell them the story, tell them the truth. As it pleasing to me that it's
메타버스에서 게임을 시작합니다.
So we have Jaedong in the top left. And in the bottom left, JYJ.
Guys, before we get started in this game, we want to thank everybody who's been supporting us on Patreon. That's patreon.com/ASL English. And I know there's probably many of you who are watching who keep saying to yourself or yourselves, oh, I'll get around to supporting them on Patreon. I've just been too busy, or I can't be bothered to open up another browser. Now is another little push from us.
Yeah. Open up another tab. It's Control and T, guys. You can do it.
Yes.
But yeah, thank you to everyone for supporting. We are just absolutely loving ASL. I think this is one of the best seasons that we've had to date, honestly, and probably the most wide open one to find a new champion.
Yeah. This is honestly, I love not having Flash here. I think it makes this so much more interesting. Like for, who's going to come out on top. There's so many different players that could take it. There's so many different storylines we can have with this. So this has definitely been a fun season so far. And again, Jaedong is one of these players we've all had a lot of questions about. Like, how is he going to perform in a group that's this stacked? Because if Jaedong can get out of this group, I think he's got a real shot of going all the way. This is a very tough group for him.
Yeah, it really is. Well, a lot of this just depends on how strong his ZVT is going to be here. Now, we should mention that this is a fast factory build coming out of JYJ. So even though he's shown us just dynamite bio play, I mean, this could end up being a 1-1-1, could end up being mech. We don't really know right now, but definitely something else than what Jaedong has seen from him.
Yeah, JYJ with a very different build. I really thought he was just going to get a command center up pretty fast and start powering out Marines and getting to those science vessels, but this is a little bit different. Now, Jaedong is going to scout this with his Overlord. It's headed to the bottom left on the mini-map. You can see already the drone's going to see there's nothing else up here. And,
yeah.
Let's see what the Overlord can find. You can't get that far into your base. Did he just cancel that Marine?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you don't see Lings coming, you just get the factory quicker. And if the Lings come right after, you just go, oh, damn it. But the Overlord sees the gas, so Jaedong is now completely aware of what's going on. He knows the timing that he's going to need for a Sunken to stop any Vultures from coming in. And we'll see how he actually alters his build. The gas timing he got gives him a very, very fast layer. So it looks like he was going for like a super fast 2-hatch. Just getting the mutas there a little bit quicker, but that's not necessarily as useful against like a Goliath opener or a Valkyrie opener.
And this is going to be a pretty quick CC over here. He's driven the Overlord away. The Overlord is like, I swear, like a pixel or two away from actually seeing that, but he doesn't have to confirm yet.
Yeah, I think he'll just assume it anyways.
Okay.
Like, there's one base gas builds for Terran. It's a very short list. Like, against a 2-hatch opener especially, like, you can't even really get a Vulture drop-off before the mutas are out. So it's kind of like the 2-port Wraith is basically it. And he's not playing against Leda, so no worries there.
So this is going to be a very quick Hydra Den here. Now, I'm not saying that's going to be this, but the moment I see that Hydra Den, I kind of think back to that Hydra bust that we saw Jaedong do to Flash. I don't think that's going to be this here, but let's see. I mean, with a Hydra Den this fast, you can get Lurkers extremely quickly.
Yeah. That is interesting. If he rushes up to Lurker, so the Lurker could make sense if he thinks it's a Valkyrie build. Here it looks to be a 1-1-1 with a Wraith first. So the Wraith first is actually going to do a lot here for JYJ. It's going to reveal what Jaedong is up to. And he should be able to parry this from Jaedong. Like, 2-hatch Hydra or Lurker, if Terran knows about it, is not that dangerous.
Well, he's going to see the Hydras, though, right? Or maybe the Vulture is just out of vision. I guess he can barely not see it. But yeah,
he's
there's going to
trying
be
super hard to see.
some Hydras here, and now he's going to come out with this attack. Now, the Vulture obviously can't win this fight, so he has to get back. So a bunker started immediately here. Now, is there any chance that he could bust down the bunker with these Hydras? I feel like Hydras are usually pretty bad against bunkers, right?
So, well, Hydras do full damage to bunkers, but it takes 12 shots to kill an SCV. So if you just pull a ton of SCVs to repair, you hold. But hold on, I think he's getting... Oh, he got speed, not mines first.
Whoa.
So these Hydras are going to get in on top of this very, very quickly. Has to bring his SCVs up for that repair. But again, if you see the Hydras coming at all, it's very hard to make them do damage.
So it looks like the Vultures could just run right into the main, right? Here they go now.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
Oh,
okay,
man.
so one actually turned around and kind of got stuck, but the damage is going to be pretty immense here. Really, any damage here is immense.
Pretty insane play here by JYJ. This is not your typical game. By the way, Hydra speed's done.
Yeah, Jaedong really kind of going into it. He does have a Spire making, which JYJ sees, so he's going to have to keep that in mind. But honestly, if you go like Hydra speed into Muta, I'm trying to think of things that are more all-in. Four-pool comes to mind, but not too much else, right? Like, you don't... Your army will never win anything heads up. It's all about surprise. So I wonder if he actually is going to make any Mutas here.
Yeah, basically Jaedong, has had a lot of kind of surprise techs within techs within techs, if that makes sense. Like, initially the Terran would have thought it's going to be Muta play, then there's Hydras out, then it's actually Hydras with speed instead of Lurkers right away. But the problem is that all of these tech switches have kind of fallen flat, haven't they? I mean, he hasn't really been able to do very much in this game, and it just seems to me like if JYJ can keep teching up the way that he has been teching up, he's going to be in good shape.
Yeah, he's definitely in great shape, but Jaedong got a full scout off with that Scourge, so he sees what's going on exactly. This is just going to go into bio. He's going to have a good idea of the timing of that as well, because there's only one barracks right now, so you're going to have to add a couple, which, that's going to take a full minute from now before they start producing, and you need a few rounds. So, yeah, we're looking at probably right around 10 minutes. 9 to 10 minutes JYJ should be moving out. So what does Jaedong do in these next few free minutes? Does he try to launch another attack and break him before he's ready? Does he just mass up and try to crush the army when it comes out? This is a tough call. This is where you make your money as a pro gamer, I think.
Yeah, this is tricky. I mean, he already invested in some tech that doesn't really have a whole lot of utility. I mean, especially with Hydra's speed. And I think there's actually a bunch of Lings hatching. Am I seeing this right on the minimap? He's just going to go for a Ling Lurker bust.
Yeah, it looks that way. Now, how much detection is there? This is kind of a funny thing because the Academy was pretty late. Oh, there's a vessel. Okay, so that just won't work.
Yeah,
and look at the turrets he's putting up. Like, JYJ is not entirely sure what's going on here.
Well, JYJ senses Zerg cheese on 2 base, and
yeah,
as a Protoss player, I share in this kind of weird feeling when you're like, all right, what are they doing? Something's coming. I don't know what it is. Now, he's going to see the Lings with speed, but this attack's about to come in here. So it's going to be up to JYJ to try to hold off this attack. Again, it's a lot of Lurkers and a lot of Lings.
Yeah, but look at that depot wall. Like, how do you ever... No, you just don't is the answer. You don't get anything done here, unfortunately, for Jaedong. This was a beautiful hold from JYJ, and yeah, this should be just about done here.
Yeah. Oh, the D-Matrix is so good. Yeah, I think that Jaedong might need to tap out. Even the tank to block over there. So good, man. Now, I mean, Jaedong may stay in the game, but I don't see much of a reason to, He's pretty much lost everything. There it is. GG. Jaedong taps out with his all-in. I'll tell you what, a really interesting Jaedong game to start off for that ZVT. The problem is that JYJ is just too stable.
Yeah, he really was. And he did open with something different than what Jaedong, I think, was thinking would occur. The attempted Hydra bust was, I think, a little bit suspect. It's not that hard to hold that, like a 2-hatch Hydra. You're not fielding that many, so as long as they get a bunker up with like 2 Marines in it, it's kind of hard to break, right? You have to buy like a lot of Hydras at that point. So JYJ, just super, super solid, showing that he does have more range than just SK Terran. And back to the drawing board here for Jaedong.
Yeah, I feel bad for Jaedong. I think he tried to be really tricky. And again, I'm super excited to see that he's bringing all these kind of weird, obtuse techs and timings out. But I'm worried, again, JYJ might just be too solid. It is a feature of being a good Terran player is you have to kind of put up with enough bullshit from the other races early on that, like, when you get to someone of JYJ's caliber, it's very unlikely they're going to get thrown off. But let's see. Let's see what else Jaedong can do.
All right, we're going to go into Monopoly, Tasteless. This is a very different map than Metaverse, so should play quite differently. Going to be kind of interesting with the way things rotate around. I think Muta's going to be pretty strong here as well. And we'll see what JYJ has prepared, because I think Jaedong will probably just open pretty standard, and I think it's more up to JYJ to kind of dictate the flow of the early game here.
I think you're right. We're ready to get into this, guys. Right now, JYJ with a 1-0 lead here over Jaedong. Again, the winner of this best of 3 is going to get that spot in the round of 8 here in Group C, and be the first survivor here. And when I said we were ready to go, we're not, because we're still on the screen. But normally, a producer would have been in my ear saying it's time, and I would have said that, and I would have sounded good. But here we are. You say something, Artosis.
No. Okay, Tasteless, it's time now, I think.
All right, ready? It's going to happen.
3, 2, 1. Let's go.
Now.
전투 준비.
All right, it worked. Good job.
Is it pleasing to me that it's freaking for you? Tell them the story, tell them the truth. Is it pleasing to me?
모노폴리에서 게임을 시작합니다.
I just noticed there's a Triforce on the minimap.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that.
Look at that.
At least 3 of the pieces of the Triforce are there.
Well, it looks actually like, the really old, Nintendo Triforce, where it's cut up into even more pieces. It's not just the 3 pieces, but the 3 pieces are all broken into pieces as well.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we have Jadong there in the bottom left. In the top left, we have JYJ.
Speaking of Triforces, Artosis, I know that you're you love the Zelda franchise. I do too, actually. I haven't played all of them, but I know you really enjoyed Breath of the Wild. I didn't have the time to get into it, but I know you're playing Elden Ring. Are you enjoying that?
Well, I already beat the hardest boss.
In Elden Ring?
Yeah. Getting the game onto my Xbox, being an American that lives in South Korea, that was...
Oh, that is actually the hardest thing to do. You can't
convince me that there's a harder boss than that.
Dude, it was actually so hard for me to get that game on my PS5, and, I don't even get it. I'm, on the online store trying to get it, and it won't let me. I had to go through to my browser and then, buy the thing on the internet, and then, then it installed. It was totally weird.
No, yeah. So... since I defeated that boss, the game has been pretty easy so far. I have died a few times, but guess what, Tasteless? I don't want to spoiler this for you, but I got a ghost horse.
You got a ghost horse? You already have
a ghost horse.
Dude, yes. I could use that Elden Ring horse in real life for any time I'm going to be late for a show or anything.
Ride your ghost horse down the streets.
I
of
ride
Seoul.
it to the train station, then I just cancel him. I make him not exist so I can board the train.
How sad is that? The poor ghost horse dies every time and has to be reborn.
It's a different horse every time it comes back.
Yeah. It's so happy to be alive, but then it realizes that actually you don't have too much use for it. It's very
It realizes
dark,
the next bonfire is not that far away. It's just looking around with its eyes all scared, trying to take in reality and life before it disappears again. So this was a hatch on 9 into pool on 9, gas on 9.
Oh, was it? Okay, I wasn't actually...
Yeah.
I was too busy making jokes about how bad the interface is, the 2001 interface for buying games on Xbox. But that's kind of crazy. If that was like a 999, that gives you a little bit more larva. And I've heard that this is actually pretty good against 8 racks type builds, because you get this little boost of your Zergling count. So it's pretty good against any sort of cheese. And not that far behind economically. So, interesting that Jadong busts that out here.
Yeah, let's see what Jadong has in store for us here. Jadong has always been really strategically quite brilliant, and he's also had that really strong mechanical component to his play. But I wonder if we're gonna have anything at all like we had in that last game, where there's a couple surprise techs he's going to try to throw you off, or is this just going to be straight into Spire, super normal stuff?
Well, I think it is going to be straight into Spire. You don't... I mean, 2 hatch lurker openers are just not that good, especially at higher levels. The better the Terran gets, the worse the build is. So I do want to see him go directly into mutas from here. Now, this is a quick gas after expand for JYJ, so he is... This is either going to be a Valkyrie rush or this will be a Goliath build. Really unsure as to which one. There's 4 Marines roaming, so it kind of makes me lean towards Valkyrie build there. You generally would try to make fewer if possible otherwise. But Jadong got a 250 layer again, which is what he was going for that previous game as well. So he's just kind of going for pretty quick mutas. in these games. And obviously nothing wrong with that at all. Right? A lot of pros do prefer slightly quicker layers instead of like a 3-minute, a 250 to 254. And it does make a little bit of difference, right? Like every extra second you get before you have to build your turrets is a second well loved by a Terran player.
Oh, for sure. Just getting that out in time. By the way, that SCV slipping through on the very, very far left, and there's no sunken colony here. So, I mean, I think he's just going to walk right into the front door and get the confirmation of the mutas.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. Armory on the way. All right, this is getting exciting right now. I don't see a starport, I don't think. So
I didn't see one.
Is it just a Goliath build?
It could be. I'm sorry. I don't think I saw a starport either, dude. Which it feels like it would have to be up by now.
Well, you definitely want to start it really, really quickly. I think there's a second factory. I see an add-on, so that should be for Goliath range. So I think we're going to see a straight-up like mech opener here. He does get this Vulture out. Jaedong was not quite ready for this. It's not the end of the world. He has enough speedlings. He can get the sunken down. We'll see if he loses. Ooh, he loses a drone there. Not bad. JYJ probably pretty happy with how this is going so far. Yeah, look at that. Slips up into the main base. God, well, that Vulture control just beautiful.
He can keep this Vulture alive, you know, indefinitely until the mutas come out. I mean, the Lingzer should not be able to catch this.
This Vulture tastes, I don't know, he's going to have to get ensnare to catch this thing. Are you kidding me? This is ridiculous, this Vulture.
Yeah, he's going to try to target down one more drone. Doesn't work, so the mutas are out. And you're right, dude. This is just a Goliath build. He's got a very nice spread of turrets. The mutas are going to come up here, but this is going to be tricky. Now, Zerg's taking a third base down in, I guess you could say, 6 o'clock here on the mini-map.
And I think what we're seeing from JYJ, I think this will be a macro Goliath build where you go 3 base, probably 2-1 upgrades before you end up attacking, as opposed to one of these 2 base really heavy Goliath builds. Just based on the fact he got his second gas really, really quickly here. So he's kind of just banking up. Yeah, he's making a lot of turrets as well. You know, you cut just a little bit of Goliath production, you can kind of nail everything else economically. So JYJ, he should be pretty solid on the defense. Oh, that's an annoying turret to have to try to remake. Goliath range not done quite yet, since the factory was a little bit later here as well.
And he's going to be able to get that one turret in the back, but, you know, the reality here for Jaedong is he hasn't quite gotten the kind of damage he wants to get. And the problem with Goliaths with range is just that it becomes so punishing every time you graze by them. Unlike the Marines, where the mutas can kind of get the initiative, you can kind of angle the mutas in a position where they're not going to be hit that quickly. With Goliaths, I mean, they shoot, like, I swear, the length of an entire screen. So it's pretty rough. And do you think that Terran will move out eventually and try to target the third or the natural, or is there really any specific location Terran's looking for that might be weak?
No, well, there shouldn't be any sort of timing here, right? Like, as I mentioned about the natural gas being taken really quickly kind of signals that this is a macro play where he wants to really bank up his gas. He'll make enough Goliaths that he lives. He'll keep his upgrades going. And then we'll probably see him start rotating some Vultures around and getting ready to take a third base. See, Jaedong just got in. He saw the starport as well, so that's kind of reconfirming for him what's going on. He's probably not really in danger unless he plays really greedily of JYJ coming out and doing damage, so he does have some time to kind of choose how he wants to combat the mech threat.
So the Zerg also is on 3 gases, and I don't see any slowdown here for muta production. Is there any way that Zerg can, like, kind of overpower the Terran with the mutas? Because we've seen this before in StarCraft, well, it's just StarCraft 1 games in general, where, like, sometimes you just keep making mutas and you actually beat the Goliath player. Is that a possibility here?
Yeah, to a certain point, mutas, like, if you just produce mutas nonstop on 3 gas, and they walk out with, you know, they walk out with, like, a decent-sized group of Goliaths, you'll generally plow through it. We see Jaedong is not, like, over-making mutas right now. He'll probably go into a Hydralisk Den here as well. And, I mean, he's taken a lot of damage because he continues to harass with the mutas. And like you said, the Goliaths punish that pretty hard. That's like one of the nice things about Goliath is you can't really harass the Terran player because they're always hitting. So now he is going for a counter. This might just kill J-Dong.
Yeah, this is going to be tough. I don't know that he's got enough mutas that he can just slaughter him. He's got +1 attack, but so do these Goliaths here now. One sunken colony about to fall.
Ooh, you can see, though, like every Goliath is hitting all of its missiles. Now he's going after the hatchery. That hatchery not looking like it's in very good shape. J-Dong trying to micro here against the Goliaths, but it's hard to even do that, honestly. He loses the hatchery. And look at that turnaround now. That's a pro gamer move right there. Turning around.
Yeah, that's
Lesser
pretty clutch.
Terrans will be like, whoa, I got him on the run. Look at this. And like they'll go and J-Dong will like whittle the army down and kill it. And it's like, okay, there we go. But here, JYJ pulls back. He killed a hatchery. He killed several mutas. He lost like 3 Goliaths. And he's adding production. So if he just pulls back, reinforces, it's ridiculous how strong his army is getting.
Yeah, this is kind of crazy. Like, the amount of damage that the Zerg dealt with there was kind of huge, but I totally agree with what you're saying. Like, when you kill that hatchery, that's actually your cue to leave. Not to be like, oh, I've got him now. You know,
yeah.
Taste this, and then, you know, you come in and everything gets wiped. Instead, to play like this is smart. Losing a hatchery is always a pretty big deal for the Zerg. You just come back and keep powering up with more Goliaths.
Mm-hmm. And look at this. The Muta's going to go in for a counterattack. There is a Radiate on the way. So this Mutalist clump, like, it doesn't have a very long shelf life at this point. Looks like he wants to kill an Armory. If that's the +2 attack, that's a great pickoff.
Yeah, he does manage to clean that out, but it's not going to be without taking some serious losses here with these mutas. Oh my god, the Goliaths, the moving shot is just brutal.
Yeah, that was painful. Another macro hatch coming up. It looks like we are going to see the switch into Hydras from here. And look, like Vessel's out. He's got 3 add-ons, so we're going to see Siege Tanks starting to come out. Certainly his gas is going to be super spent, so we should see some Vultures start to come out as well while he takes that 3rd base. But this game is... I like it for JYJ.
Yeah, I mean, JYJ is looking pretty good. We're finally getting some vessels and some tanks out here. I wonder how much that loss of that upgrade is going to hurt the Terran, though. You know, mech upgrades are so powerful that to lose one of them, we don't know if it was attack or armor either.
Yeah, we'll know whenever we see a second upgrade on those Goliaths. But yeah, I mean, it's always great to kill an armory because so much of mech is about those upgrades and outscaling your opponent. But I don't think it's the end of the world for him. He's getting like a very, very strong army at the moment. The Siege Tank's going to help out immensely against Hydras. And of course, like even a single Irradiate here against those Mutas, and they're going to be worthless.
All right, the Mutas are going to gather up over here. And, you know, one thing about this map is that counterattacks can be extremely powerful. Oh, dude. Oh, my God. Oh, J-Dog.
Oh, tasteless. That, look at the amount of damage. Like, if those things even see the Goliaths, they're all going to die.
That was insane how much damage that was. That's so frustrating. It's such a big punish, too, because when you're the Zerg, you always have one Overlord in the control group because it makes the Mutas bunch up, but then when the Irradiate comes out, it's like a nightmare trying to pick that one out there. There's even a whole art to like where you want to click the Irradiate so that it's the hardest for the Zerg to click out.
Yeah, there really is. You learn it over time with many, many failed Irradiates.
Where do you
like,
try
the
to
top
click?
one?
I've heard that like the bottom right of the clump can be like really good because of the way things stack.
Yeah, no, there's like a way that you don't want to click right on top of the clump. You're clicking on a corner of the clump.
Yeah.
Because, like, the top is the top. Like, the top muta is on top, and you don't want that muta specifically. So you want something in the middle. So you just kind of click it on the side. It's hard to explain, but you get it.
No, you just don't. You want to click on the muta at the bottom, so they're having to like shuffle all the mutas out of the way. By the way, he's really made a lot of Hydras here. You know, mech. You know, look, I'm a Protoss player, so this is very foreign to me, but watching this sort of like meching Terran against the Zerg that kept making mutas for like 10 minutes straight and then switching to Hydras, I've always found this kind of a funny looking thing. And it always seems like it can go either way. Like it's really not clear until the fight happens who's going to take this, but JYJ, I mean, he could eventually unsiege and push right the can't the Zerg just counterattack over and over again?
Yeah, sometimes that is how it ends up going down, is just like mass counters from Zerg. But yeah, I mean, if JYJ just sits there in siege mode, like with this number of tanks, this number of Goliaths, and he does have +2 attack, so that was the armor. This Hydralisk Force, if he's completely in siege mode, it won't even be close. Like, JYJ will wipe this army. I'm surprised he's attacking it.
Yeah, this seems...
Well, J-Dog's going to try it. Look at those Hydras just get absolutely splattered.
I'm kind of shocked that he's coming in here, especially when there were those depots set up where I'm like, there's just no way, right?
Yeah, no, we just saw like 30 Hydras die, like killing like 2 tanks. It's definitely not that. I think in a position like this, like we saw the Queen's Nest, so I think he's going into Broodling. But I feel like you have to just threaten counterattacks for a long time. Because, like, what he just did, that signals JYJ. It's like, okay, my army is so much bigger than his. Let's go.
Okay, I feel like JYJ just wins now.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe we could have had a different game had those Hydras not counterattack like that. He's going to do it again,
maybe.
But...
Well, he is doing a counter, and this is kind of what you need to do. So the counterattack is coming in. JYJ with his massive army going down towards the natural of Jaedong. I don't know how in the hell he'll ever hold that. Ooh, a nice D-Matrix comes out, but, I mean, there's enough Hydras here to really put some damage on. It's just that army. How the hell do you stop that?
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty insane, man. Okay, so this is a bit base tradey, but Terran is going to basically puncture the heart. And I don't think that Zerg can actually get up into the main either here. Now, Queens are going to be banked down here. That can be very helpful. Keep in mind, the Terran is, like, not got a lot left on 2 bases, right? The Zerg's got a mobile army. Maybe a couple Brutalians could pick off tanks here or there, and the Zerg drags the game out. But honestly, I think mathematically, it's hard for me to see how Zerg just makes this work.
Well, he needs to slam this army. Like, he needs to really, really, really kill it. He does have a decent amount of Queens. If he has time for Broodlings, and he Broodlings like all the tanks, he can easily clean up the Goliaths. But this push is coming too fast.
Yeah. Again, big tech reset here. I don't think that layer was actually killed, or the hive, or whatever the main tech was inside the Zerg's main. But, like, this is over, dude. There's no way that Jaedong could play through this. Yep, GG. So JYJ, dude, what a hero, man. Just hacking and slashing his way through all this Zerg scum to come out on top.
Yeah, the only Terran to win a group here in the round of 16, and does it in style. But, you know, that kind of went like we expected, where it's like JYJ is a bit too solid for Jaedong to get past. Jaedong is still looking very good, but, you know, this is kind of the matchup for Zerg where, you know, you really earn your standing, right? Like, you have to be on top of things to beat these top Terrans. You might be able to get some quick wins in ZVZ and ZVP, but not so much in ZVT.
Well, I think this is still very doable for Jaedong. I mean, he is such a solid ZVZer. It's going to be Hero versus SoulKey next. That should be an interesting CVZ, but of course, Jaedong, having won that first match, he'll be in our final match here, and then we're going to see which of the 3 Zergs remaining in this group move on.
ASL 시즌 13 16강 시조 경기 함께하고 계십니다. 전승으로 8강에 올라온 오늘의 첫 번째 주인공입니다. 정영재 선수 만나보시죠. 축하드립니다.
감사합니다.
오늘 그야말로 주도권을 완벽하게 꽉 잡은 경기들로 승리를 거두고 8강에 올라가셨습니다. 개인적으로도 또 많은 분들도 정영재 선수에게 거는 기대가 큰 시즌이에요. 그 좋은 경기력 보여주신 기분이 어떠실까요?
일단 3저그 조가 됐는데 사실 걱정을 너무 많이 했거든요. 워낙 잘하는 선수들이다 보니까. 그래서 연습을 진짜 이틀 동안 손이 저릴 정도로 좀 한 것 같아요.
근데 경기 전 인터뷰에서는 승률이 개인적으로는 좀 만족스럽지는 못했다. 하지만 연습은 연습일 뿐이니 좀 떨쳐내 보려고 한다라는 답변을 제가 들었어서 좀 걱정을 하고 계시나라는 생각을 했는데 그렇지는 않으셨나요?
일단 빌드를 짤 때 일단 처음에는 연습 상대랑 처음 할 땐 다 이겼는데 원래 이게 하다 보면 상대들이 대처가 좋아져서 지거든요. 그런 느낌으로 진 거라서 크게 생각 안 하고 있었어요.
오늘 전체적으로 세 번의 경기 모두 정영재 선수가 좀 주도권을 계속해서 쥐고 있지 않았나 하는 생각이 듭니다. 첫 번째 조일장 선수와의 경기에서도 일단 초반에 3배럭으로 좀 푸시를 가셨어요. 이후에 주도권을 좀 잡은 모습이었는데 이것도 좀 주도권을 잡기 위한 계획이었나요?
일장이 형이 쓴 빌드를 한 번도 안 해봤는데 그래도 머리에 대처법이 좀 남아 있더라고요. 저도 모르게 좀 무아지경으로 한 것 같은데 일단 빌드를 먹어서 굉장히 좋게 시작했던 것 같아요.
이후에 또 조일장 선수가 사카스를 먹고 난 이후에는 굉장히 강해지는 선수이기 때문에 끊임없이 저지를 하면서 승리를 거두셨던 첫 번째 경기였던 것 같고요. 이재동 선수와의 승자전 첫 번째 메타버스에서도 굉장히 좀 날카로운 경기력을 보여주셨는데 원원원을 하셨어요.
일단 생각을 아예 안 해왔을 거라고 생각해서 약간 상대방에게 심리전을 걸었는데 되게 잘 통한 것 같아요.
이후에 이재동 선수가 히드라를 먼저 좀 보게 됐는데 좀 올인이라고 생각하셨을까요?
이게 초 단위로 좀 계산을 해보면 앞에 그 3회 처리가 안 지어지면은 저글링 발업 아니면 히드라인 게 약간 거의 확실해서 올인까지는 아니더라도 되게 좋게 시작할 수 있다고 생각하고 있어요.
두 번째 세트였던 모노폴리 아무래도 좀 바이오닉이 어렵다라는 말들도 있는 맵이어서 메카닉을 좀 준비해 오셨던 것 같아요.
네, 일단 오늘 승패자전에서 리볼버를 배나고 모노폴리를 살렸는데 이 빌드 쓰려고 좀 예전부터 생각하고 있었는데 딱 운이 좋았던 것 같아요.
오늘 굉장히 전체적으로 짜임새 있는 경기 준비를 해오셨다라는 생각이 들어서 8강에서 다전제의 정영재 선수는 어떨까 개인적으로 좀 굉장히 기대가 됩니다. 하지만 뭐 조추첨을 해봐야 알겠지만 일단은 A조, B조에서 2위로 올라온 선수를 만나게 될 확률이 있잖아요. 모두 테란이거든요. 어떻게 생각하세요?
8강부터는 근데 피해갈 수가 없는 것 같아요. 제가 태태전이 약하긴 한데 또 이렇게 잘 준비하면 좋은 결과 있을 것 같아요.
자신감이 많이 붙은 정영재 선수의 모습인 것 같습니다. 끝으로 함께 연습 도와준 동료들 그리고 팬들에게도 한 말씀 전해주시죠.
일단 지금 응원하고 있을 CP 우리 대학 친구들 너무 고맙다고 전하고 싶고요. 그리고 연습을 너무 많이 도와줘서 지금 기억이 잘 안 나는데 일단 명훈이 형, 유난이 형, 예훈이 형, 그리고 짭제, 진우, 준호. 더
연습을
있는데
정말 많이 하신 것 같아요. 네.
더 있는데 생각이 안 나요. 이거 제가 따로 풍선이라도 쏘도록 하겠습니다.
네.
언급 안 하시는 분들은.
네, 팬분들께도 한 말씀 해주시죠.
팬분들 항상 솔직히 오늘 제가 올라갈 거라고 생각 많이 못 하셨을 건데 그래도 응원해주신 팬분들 너무 감사하고요. 8강에서 좋은 기억은 없지만 잘해보도록 하겠습니다.
축하드리고요. 3저그 사이에서 살아남아 8강에 진출하신 거 다시 한번 축하드립니다. 8강 때 뵙겠습니다. 자, 이렇게 오늘의 첫 번째 C조의 주인공 정영재 선수와 함께했습니다. 계속해서 이벤트까지 안내해 드리도록 하겠습니다. 자, 2개의 이벤트 마련되어 있습니다. 모두 ASL 공식 방송국에서 진행이 되는데요. 에스크 ASL은 선수들에게 궁금한 점 이벤트 게시글에 남겨주시면 선정된 분께 ASL 미니 가습기 드리도록 하겠습니다. 승부 예측 이벤트 역시 진행 중입니다. 승리할 것 같은 선수에게 투표하시고 응원의 댓글까지 남겨주시면 2분 추첨해서 역시 ASL 미니 가습기 보내드리도록 하겠습니다. 자, 과연 C조에서 살아남을 두 번째 저그 선수는 어떤 선수일지 잠시 쉬었다가 패자전과 최종전 함께 하시죠.
힘들어도
어려워도 이렇게 멈추면 내가 아니지.
오늘이 뭐야?
새로운 나를 만든다.
나의 레벨은 다르다. 어너더 레벨 핫6.
어려워도 이렇게 멈추면 내가 아니지. 오늘이 모여 새로운 나를 만든다. 나의 레벨은 다르다. 어너더 레벨 핫6.
아침엔 라떼 홀리 점심엔 라떼 홀리 저녁엔 라떼 홀리 풍부하게 달콤하게 라떼 홀리 달달한 충전이 필요할 땐 칸타타
ASL 시즌 13 Unlimited.
Welcome back, everybody. It's time to go on to the losers match and eliminate one of these Zerg players. And this is kind of a crazy matchup here. We've got two of the best Zergs out there about to be, one of them about to be eliminated here in the round of 16. Hero, you know, this guy needs no introduction. And of course, SoulKey. These guys are both completely insane. And I'm not totally sure who's going to take it. I'm thinking, maybe Hero? And at the same time, though, man, SoulKey is just, I don't know, man. He's so crazy good. So, again, guys, best of 3 here. And I don't know what to expect, man. Tastosis, are you back yet?
I am. Sorry about that.
I opened a question, it was silence, and I'm like, oh, no.
Well, I was getting you back for not appreciating my vampire joke. All right, so let this be a lesson to you, Tasteless, as we enter into this ZVZ Hero against SoulKey. Best of 3, man. Should be a fast one, I think.
Should be a short one. ZVZ usually is. We're going to start this series off on Allegro. Then we're going to have Butter and Revolver SE if we do get to a third map. Who do you think takes it?
I'm going to go with Hero. I think he's just a bit better in the matchup.
I think you're probably right. All right, guys, let's get into this best of 3 and see which player is going to be knocked out of the ASL.
알레그로에서 게임을 시작합니다.
So we have in the bottom left, Hero. And in the bottom right, we have SoulKey. All right,
let's do this, man. More ZVZ here today. Again, you know, earlier, Jaedong did look so on top of his game here, but Hero can be pretty deadly in ZVZ in general here. I've always wondered, like, what exactly is SoulKey's issue in the matchup? And don't get me wrong, like, he's still good at the matchup, but I think compared to the other top Zergs we've got, like your Queens, your Jaedongs, or your Heroes, I always feel like he's a little bit behind. He doesn't seem to play poorly, but I don't know. He does seem to not have maybe as impeccable muta control as some of these other guys. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. I think you're basically right on that, and I think he just doesn't, like, his style doesn't reinforce being super on the ball in this matchup. If you, like, we just saw that list, right? Like, Soma by far the best CVZ out here. But Soma is a player that, for instance, focuses on, like, very aggressive Beetleless Micro 2 hatchery play a lot of the time, even in Zerg vs. Terran. Whereas SoulKey, this is a guy that plays a more tactical, strategic type of game, which is why I think he's a bit stronger against Terran than some of these other players, right? Is because he's, like, kind of... I guess what I'm trying to say is, stylistically, ZVZ is not where his strengths lie. Aggressive players are really good ZVZ because you have that attacker's advantage that so many matchups do not have. But, you know, then you see some of their weaknesses come through, whereas, like, Jaedong, it's like, yes, he's very good ZVZ, but then you see him against JYJ and you're like, ah, damn, that's hard, man. It looks unbeatable. But then I guarantee you see SoulKey against JYJ, that's a good game. That's a good, solid series.
Dude, I really liked SoulKey's opening here. Super fast gas. This is hyper modern ZVZ, by the way. We didn't have this in the older day builds when we were all cave people, but gas way earlier. And then pool a little bit later. And by the way, when you scout them, like in a ZVZ, you don't have any idea that they have that extra gas boost. So that's, like, very cool to see.
Yeah, he's already got certain speed on the way as well as the layer.
Yeah.
So definitely looks like it's going to be an aggressive one-hatch game out of SoulKey here. See if he's able to pick up a win against Hero with that. You know, there's so many Hero ZVZs that you can look at to study for this match. because, again, Hero, he's been top 4 last couple seasons, and if I'm recalling this correctly, both seasons, didn't he beat Queen in, like, best of 5s in the 3rd place match?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. I mean, by the way, if I was a student of Zerg, or like I was somebody who was coming back or just wanted to start StarCraft, I think that SoulKey's build is a great build to steal. Like, I think this build is pretty good against everything, and especially if you're in lower ranks, this is not going to be a build they're going to be as familiar with.
Well, it definitely, I like that it kind of gives chances against everything, and you can kind of work on Mutalist Micro and stuff like that. Hero, though, obviously with 2 hatches can field a lot more Zerglings here. So we'll see if that's going to be something he relies upon. It should be. We should see Hero go into Mass Ling here for a little bit since he's playing against such a quick Spire.
Okay, Ling speed done. And he's going to come in here and try to take this fight right away. Not a bad exchange at all here for SoulKey. He's going to come out with 4 Lings on top and kill the drone.
Oh my god, more Lings coming now as well. This could just be over. There's nothing here, Tasteless.
Artie, I think the Hero's toast.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. Look at that, more drones starting to fall here as well.
Oof.
And, like, eventually these Lings can get cleared out, but that is some ridiculous damage.
Yeah, and Lings with speed are just so much better than Lings without speed, and you can see they could just outmaneuver everything. And once you get in on top of some of these drones, there's just not that much you can do, man. So what is the drone count at total? I think it's literally 8 total for Hero.
Oh god, that's so low. I mean, SoulKey does not have a lot of drones himself, but that's what his strategy is using. Whereas Hero here, like, against the speed of this Spire, he actually needs to put on some counter pressure. Whereas SoulKey on one base, he's just going to make this sunken, he's going to do some drone drilling. Oh my god, can he actually get that? Oh, he gets it! Are you kidding me?
And I think that this is one of these turtled positions. Like, look at this. The Spire, the pool, and the Extractor cover the Sunken Colony perfectly. That's so good.
Yeah. Oh man, he has to actually click down the Evolution Chamber first. A nice cancel there from SoulKey. Now going to drill these drones, and Mutas pop out. Oh my god, how many drones can Hero actually get here?
Oh, this is so crazy. He's actually using the minerals in his opponent's base to try to mine, to basically run these away. He knows, like, all he has to do is run circles literally around this hatchery. He does it. That was so crazy.
That was insanity. And the one remaining Ling, of course, can't do anything. There's going to be a Spore coming up, but you're right. There's only 8 drones right now. This does not look good for Hero.
No, I think SoulKey's got this. This was a really good strategy to start this out on. Now, the Spore's coming. I think he could actually kill a drone or 2 before this finishes. Now.
Okay, well, the Spores come up in time, but it's... Oh, man. The 2 Lings, that's brutal. Look at this. He has to bring his drones to fight. That doesn't work. 2 Lings kill 2 drones badly.
Yeah, and he should be able to get the kills on these. Oh my god, these drones are alive. This is such a crazy ZVZ, man. Oh, gets one!
Dude, SoulKey has this game. He has this in the bag. 2 more drone kills. It's 12 supply to 22. I mean, I think Hero's going to GG at any moment.
I think you're probably right. I mean, this is so rough. There's a couple more mutas out here. The problem with this low number of spores is you don't have enough to actually cover everything. So he can even get this spore, or this Evo chamber, excuse me, this spore maker, as you call them in ZVZ.
Spore maker, yeah.
And then you can't have any more spores. And, there is a point in time where you have enough mutas, you can actually fight the spores themselves. And I don't see Spire Tech coming here anytime soon.
No, this is about it. Like, he tried to counterattack, it didn't work. GG is called, and SoulKey takes game number 1 with that very aggressive opener.
I really like the opening, man. That really all came down to those Lings getting in there. You get a couple drone kills, and things really start to fall apart. And then, of course, because your Spire's about to finish, then you force the Evo, you force 2 more spores. And at that point in time, it's like Hero just doesn't have anything to work off of.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when the first attack goes that well for SoulKey, like you said, you don't know exactly how much gas they have. I think he wasn't expecting that many Lings with speed ready at his natural, because he was starting to make Lings, but just was outnumbered.
Okay, man. Well, let's go to game 2 and see what exactly SoulKey wants to do. Now, this is going to be on Butter. ZVZ, there are some kind of weird tricks you could do on 1v1 maps because you know their Overlord scouting pattern. You can move through the blind spots. SoulKey clearly put the prep in for that map. Let's see what he wants to do as we go here into map number 2 versus Hero.
Yeah, let's see if Hero can kind of come back here, keep his chances alive. Of course, the winner is going to have to go up against Jadong for that spot in the round of 8. Who do you think, Tasteless? Now that SoulKey's up 1-0, who do you think? Do you think Hero's still going to do it?
I hope so. I hope we get a third game between these two. But SoulKey, I really like that opening, man. I don't know, man. Let's see what happens, dude. It's a tough one to call with these two. Hero versus SoulKey, game 2. Let's do this.
버터에서 게임을 시작합니다.
All right, in the bottom right, we have Hero. Of course, on elimination point right now. In the top right, we have SoulKey. And Butter's EVZ, man. All
What
right.
are you giggling about,
like,
Tastosis? Like, what's so
well,
funny?
I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, we start commentating, I'm like, wait a minute. Oh my God, Minnie's making a gateway in their naturals. Like,
look at this Mini
Butter, right?
managed to sneak a probe onto the map behind there, and he's cannon rushing their second base.
Oh, it's crazy. Minnie, you're not even supposed to be in this group. In fact, you were already eliminated. What are you doing?
Oh, man. So, yeah, dude. I mean, SoulKey opening up with that super fast gas build. I don't feel like he can do it again. I do think you have to have some real build rotation. I think more so in ZVZ than even other matchups. But this is going to be Pool on 9 and very possibly an Extractor on 9. Oh, SoulKey just does it again, Artosis.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean... Oh, SoulKey was doing... Oh, no, he is. He's going gas pool, and this is just straight up a 9 pool from Hero. So
yeah, this is a 9 pool with gas trick. But honestly, this build, every time I see it in ZVZ, I always feel like if I'm a Zerg player, or if I like start laddering with Zerg, if I ever get to S, ever Artosis, and I could try messing with another race like Zerg, I feel like this would be my build.
This one here.
From SoulKey. I really like the way it works. I like that you're getting both the layer, you're getting the Ling's speed out.
It feels, though, like you just aren't going to field as many Zerglings as a 2-hatch player.
Sure.
See, when I play ZVZ, I just nod to the fact I don't have any Mutalisk Micro, and I just go Massling on 2-hatch, man. That's it. Be surprised how many games that wins you in the B ranks.
Oh, for sure, man. I actually wonder, like, because I know of the muted micro, but I don't know how to do it. But there's all these tricks, basically, where, like, if you hit hold position with the mutas, they attack many different targets at once. I think if it's, like, patrol, I don't know. Do you know the exact inputs for the good muted micro?
Well, yeah, I know some of the ones like you just mentioned, obviously, right? Like if you fly really close to the Marines and you hit hold position, you eat a little bit more damage, but you can spray down hurt Marines and kill like several at once. That's a pure anger move there, Tasis. I hate that one. By the way, look at SoulKey hiding a hatchery in his main base.
That's such a funny spot. But I guess, yeah, in a ZVZ, you don't have mutas over there. Now, you know that there's going to be the minerals for another hatchery, but we have seen games where people hide hatches. It's not that common, by the way, but we do have it. So, like...
In fact, most of the time it's SoulKey.
Yeah, that's true, actually. You're right.
Yeah.
Oh, he tried to go around. That's kind of cute. It's like, dude,
God,
the Overlord has better vision than that.
He's like the old Roman general that makes his small army keep doing patrols through the woods from different sides to make it look like he has a big army. It's just like
the only way the Overlord's not going to see that is if it's got a blindfold on. It's like the Overlord's vision is so big. All right, so there's a lot of links coming up here for Hero, and it's a very tight entry point here. But I think that Hero could probably power his way through this, don't you think?
don't know. I mean, the second hatchery's going to pop open, so if he just holds for a little bit, he's going to get more larvae out here. He's got this great concave, or, well, I guess it's a straight line, but Hero is starting to overpower a bit. Looks like SoulKey, not too many left over here. Looks like 2 Lings remain. Sunken on the way. Lings popping out here for SoulKey.
Now, he doesn't see this hatchery down here, but if he did, he could actually kill it. So that's important to note. And, you know, the hatchery, funny thing when Zerg tries to hide a hatch is it gives itself away pretty quickly when the creep spreads out. So he should see this creep connecting.
Yeah, he definitely knows about it now, Tastosis. There's no question there, unless that Overlord still has its blindfold on. But that's, you know, he's got 500 gas banks, so SoulKey's going to be able to field a lot of mutas pretty quickly here.
So he's pulled a lot of these Lings over here to the center left. And it seems like he just wants to send all these Lings up here and try to overpower him. So, I mean, I don't know, man. This, you know, the fact that there's a hatchery down here that can just be targeted makes this a little bit weirder. I assume that mutas are about to hatch here. I don't know why I couldn't remember the name of the unit. Mutas are about to come out.
Yeah, they definitely are. Now, he is starting to hit that hatchery, but as the mutas pop out, you got to do something else, man. Like, he's targeting a hatchery right now. That is not how you get value out of these Zerglings at all.
Yeah, it feels like me and Hero were on the same page, and we were both completely wrong about what to do.
Yeah.
Like, he got down there, he's like, oh, this is terrible. Hatcheries take way longer to kill than this.
Yeah. Now the mutas are out? I mean, there's no way, Hero. SoulKey's just got this.
Yeah, well, SoulKey keeps moving out, and he's actually getting all these Overlord kills on the way, too, so it's, like, going to be basically impossible for Hero to make more Lings. So, like, this just gets worse and worse.
10. 16 of 10 against 30 of 34. Like, I think that's it, Hero. Sorry, man. No round of 4 this season.
Yeah, I mean, he's basically done it. He's just going to pick off a couple thrones here. Now, he got 2 up there. It's only 1 in the main, though, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But that covers everything, I think, literally perfectly, right? He can't hit the hatchery from the bottom right.
Yeah, but from here, like, with no gas mine, basically, for Hero, yeah I was going to say, we would have to, like, really brainstorm for how he could ever possibly win that game. So he does go ahead and GG. And SoulKey, I guess, looking pretty good there.
Yeah, man. Thing is, can he do that build against J-Dog, or does he have something else planned? You know, J-Dog has always been so gifted at ZVZ, really disproving that the matchup is, in fact, not functioning on some kind of rock, paper, scissors level. So Hero's out, dude. That's it. I didn't think he was going to be eliminated today. I didn't think he was going to be eliminated in the round of 16 either, so that's crazy.
Yeah, it's too bad to see Hero go, because I honestly think that he's, like, basically championship level right now. Like, he is one of the guys that I'm looking at each season. But SoulKey gets that victory, and up next, SoulKey against J-Dog, the rematch.
All right, guys, we're going to be going to that rematch in just a little bit. First, a short commercial break, guys.
힘들어도
어려워도 이렇게 멈추면 내가 아니지.
오늘이 보여.
새로운 나를 만든다.
나의 레벨은 다르다. 어나더 레벨 핫6.
어려워도 이렇게 멈추면 내가 아니지. 오늘이 모여 새로운 나를 만든다. 나의 레벨은 다르다. 어나더 레벨 핫6.
아침은 라떼, 홀리 점심은 라떼, 홀리 저녁엔 라떼, 홀리 풍부하게 달콤하게 라떼 홀리. 달달한 충전이 필요할 땐 칸타타
Artosis, are you here this time? Artosis?
God damn it, you.
All right. We're back, guys. Both of us are back this time. And we're ready. It's going to be unlike last time when Tastosis wasn't back and I also wasn't ready. So this is the final match, and I mean, I don't know, man. I'm getting a little emotional here. I mean, it's Jaedong versus SoulKey. I love both these players.
Yeah.
Well,
Tastosis, honestly, this is an easy choice, okay?
You think it's Jaedong easy, or is it...
You know that thing, that what is it, Sophie's Choice, where you cut the baby in half?
Oh, yeah.
Look, I would cut SoulKey in half in a second to get Jaedong into the next round. And I mean, I'm SoulKey's #1 fucking... I'm like the guy that says that he's the best. And look, here's the thing, too. He'd be like, no, you don't have to cut him in half. I'm like, nah, we've already started this. Let's just finish it. It's like,
I've already got the sword. Let's just get this over with. Oh, my God. I mean, Jaedong's good, dude, but I'm just saying, man, what if SoulKey makes his gas first and then the pool a little bit later? What then?
Oh, dude. That's crazy, Tasteless. What if he does that? Oh, man. Well, we're going to have to cut him in half and give Jaedong the spot. That's what.
Oh, boy. All right, man. Well, this is going to be one for the gamers, Artosis. Jaedong versus SoulKey.
Oh, my God.
Oh, boy.
This is going to be one
for the gamers, dude.
That's how you can tell Tasteless is casting Zerg versus Zerg right there.
It's fucking true. Oh, no. All right, guys. We're going to start this off on butter. Jaedong versus SoulKey here. And, man, Jaedong, I wanted to take this, but SoulKey is looking pretty solid. I don't think SoulKey can keep doing that same build, though, over and over.
No. Jaedong will have watched those and studied those. He already knows everything about how SoulKey wants to play this. In fact, I'm already calling it. Jaedong's taking this down, Tasteless. It's not even close.
Oh, man. The reason why people watch this is always for our ZVZ commentary. We said it before, but we really unpack this matchup in a way that, others just can't, Artosis. Jaedong versus SoulKey, guys. Again, butter. There are some interesting tricks that can be pulled off here on this map because of those positions. We already saw SoulKey's weird hatchery placement. Let's see what they're all going to try going on to this first map, man. You think this is going to be a 2-0 Jaedong, Artosis?
2-0 Jaedong.
I'm thinking 2-1 Jaedong.
2-1?
I gotta...
Tasteless.
I need to be the voice of reason here.
You better lay down next to SoulKey so I only have to swipe once.
Why is this so funny? Oh, this is like the funniest pre-show banner ever, man. All right, guys, we're ready. Finally, the game starts. These producers, I feel like they're trying to drag this out because there's so many ZVZs today. They're trying to fit in extra time anywhere they can. But
they
too late.
Do that.
Start the best of 3.
버터에서 게임을 시작합니다.
Okay.
All right, top right. Jaedong. And the bottom right, SoulKey.
Yeah, man. This has actually been a reasonably long day despite lots of ZVZs. I didn't want to point that out. This has always been, and you guys probably can't quite appreciate this as much as we can just because we've been on the production side of so many esports events, but it is like an actual issue with, broadcast time on TV and then, when you have a Zerg versus Zerg, or even if you're trying to do a big tournament and then it's like a ZVZ finals or something because... man, it can be hard to have a long day with that. Just like it can be an issue with TBT if it's like, wow, this is going to be a very long finals. Best of 7 TBT.
Yeah. It's really funny looking at the differences in the mirror matchups when you think about it, right? So, like, Tasteless, close your eyes for a moment.
Okay.
I mean, you looking at a ZVZ screen doesn't help commentary anyway, so just close your eyes for a moment. Now... imagine, like, you're going to start playing StarCraft. I'm like, all right, here are your choices, Tasteless. So you can have all the best units, but when you play another guy that has all the best units, it's basically rock, paper, scissors. Or you can have all the defensive units.
Yeah.
And when you play the other guy that has all the defensive units, it lasts forever. Or you can try to kill each other with fucking Reaver Dragoon. Which race do you choose?
I go right to Protoss, man. The easiest choice I've ever made. It's like, or you can have a matchup that's like the Goldilocks matchup, at least for time, except that all the units you have to use bug out. It's Scarabs and Dragoons.
You know, I tell you what, actually, you just kind of sold me on this. When I describe what the mirrors are like, I'm like, oh, God. Like, this is why, Tasteless, you're like handsomer and stronger than me. It's just like Protoss was the choice.
Tastosis, that's all fading fast, though. All my glory days are far behind me, man. Now I'm both ugly and weak. Tastosis.
Protoss players are high school athletes, Tasteless. Like, you never make it into the pros. You just keep reliving that time you DT rushed a pro gamer.
My old football replays or whatever with my letter jacket on.
Exactly.
By the way, this is hatch expand on both sides. And
well, that's the real mind game, isn't it?
Yeah. And so, I mean, let's see if it's going to be layer or speed first. Jaedong goes layer first. And layer first here for SoulKey. Now, we're going to get to the point where they're going to have overlords right over each other, and it's going to be basically impossible to surprise either side here. So I'm very interested with these two guys because they're so brainy and because we've had so many interesting ZVZs for them. How exactly do they want to try to navigate this game from here?
Yeah. Someone has to start making lings, and then the other guy has to make lings in response to that. Where do the lings stop? I think that's like one of the big balancing acts, right? You want to have, like, if your opponent's going to try to attack you, you want to have, like, a very similar number of lings as he has, but you don't want to, like, underdo it, right? Like, if he comes in with 12 and you have 8, that's a problem. If he comes in with 12 and you have 10, okay, suddenly you have another drone mining for a little bit and your rallies are closer, and maybe that's an advantage.
Yeah, that is one of the big factors, right? I mean, in so many of these ZVZs that we have, it is like one guy trying to get the mutas out as quick as possible. The other player also has a Spire making, but he's not trying to make mutas right away. He's trying to flood and force a fight with Zerglings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, SoulKey is making a lot, and Jaedong goes for the sunk.
Yeah, and the second gas. So, like, Jaedong is clearly committing to mutas and wants to try to hold with the bare minimum.
Mm-hmm. And SoulKey, like, look, he has his standard 2 lings off to the side. SoulKey does that literally every ZVZ. I normally talk about it before the game so I can look smart, but at this point I think everyone's caught on to me. But, like, this is his special strategy, Tasteless. Like, he does this literally every time. Where
This
he's
is
like,
true.
Okay. Yeah, those are his counterattack lings.
They call him Tooling.
Tooling?
Yeah.
Something about that tooling.
Yeah.
It's like tulip, but tooling.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, see, there they are. They didn't make it in this time.
He's like, damn, my Toolings didn't get in.
Spire is finishing up here.
And SoulKey definitely has more Zerglings here, but I don't think he can actually break Jaedong here.
Well, Jaedong is making
lings.
mutas. Yeah, Jaedong's being very careful here, as he should be. The drones have been pulled. He just needs his mutas to pop out and save the day.
Oh, man, the surface area on that sunken colony is pretty brutal. It does end up going down. The lings are going to come in. There's just enough drones. And now there's just no more, or almost no more lings. And so SoulKey actually breaks through. Oh.
All right, but the mutas are popping out. And if he doesn't lose drones here, it's like you just did all that to cause a little bit of lost mining time, kill no drones, and kill a sunk. I think that Jaedong is fine, Tasteless. No worries.
Well, hold on, Artosis. There's more lings coming up here.
But mutas shoot up and down, Tasteless.
I think they don't shoot up. I think they just shoot straight and down.
Sometimes, yeah, okay.
Is there anything that can really go above the muta? I mean, that's a good question. I don't know.
Well, another muta, like the top muta, right? So if they want to attack the top muta, they're technically
Depends
shooting
on where
up,
he is
yeah.
in the stack, man.
Yeah, that's all it is.
So I think that SoulKey right now has the initiative, but they've actually gone around each other, and this is where ZVZ can get pretty unstable here. He's going to just go ahead and try to take safe fights, which is over the Overlords. But he's starting to realize these mutas are trying to meet up somewhere else. So we can actually snipe the other mutas. This is huge.
Yeah, he does get one. Oh my god, it seems like SoulKey might have a little edge with the Scourge here, and he's doing the moving shots. Jaedong got the first 2 muta kills, but SoulKey is up a muta now.
Oh no, I think Jaedong's just going to lose. This is starting to snowball. I mean, when you could get, yeah, the moving shot's going to be too much, and Jaedong, I think, just fizzles out. It is physically impossible to recover from here unless you were to just accidentally crash this, mutas into the Scourge like that. But even then, you need a little bit more.
Yeah, it's not looking so hot. Jaedong maybe overcommitting a little bit there in the center. And that's going to be that. Game number 1 going to go to SoulKey.
GG. All right, man. He's halfway there. That was kind of a weird moment. Jaedong seemed to get way too confident moving out and then trying to, he picked off one of the mutas that was on the way to meet up with the other group of SoulKey's mutas, but the problem was that Jaedong didn't have enough mutas to begin with. He couldn't have taken that fight. That's why SoulKey was so far ahead in that position. SoulKey knew he was ahead.
Yeah. Well done by SoulKey. And somewhat mirrored builds there. I felt like Jaedong actually held the attack reasonably well. Maybe if he sits back a bit longer there with his Mutalisks instead of getting so aggro on top of the Overlords and everything. But some good Scourge connections. And now Jaedong with his back up against the wall.
Is this going to be the end of our Golden Zerg God? Can SoulKey just crush through? I mean, suddenly he's looking like Zerg was never a problem. And honestly, by the way, if he gets out of this group, we probably have to say that his EVZ really isn't a problem anymore. But you beat Hero and Jaedong, and it's like, okay, buddy.
Yeah. I feel like it's really hard to take people's temperature on ZVZ.
It is.
Because, sometimes they'll just come in and win, and it's like, okay, well... I mean, it's not like SoulKey has never won ZVZs in ASL or anything, but it feels like that's what keeps him back. But maybe tonight that's what propels him forward.
Yeah, man. I mean, if you're going to win ZVZs, today's the day to do it. And taking out Hero already, and now, Jaedong is just one loss away from being eliminated. This is getting tense. By the way, Jaedong, this ASL was so important to him coming back into this. And so we got to see what he's got here on Eclipse, man, because if he doesn't have it on Eclipse, he doesn't have it in the round of 8 at all.
Yeah, that is a fact. Okay, Eclipse. Let's get into it. See what these guys have planned. Another 2-player map. So definitely going to be a little bit more planned out, a little bit more straightforward on those strategies.
How much
No
longer?
luck in the scouting.
Sorry, Tastosis. I was just going to say, how much longer will the production try to drag out this segment? Because ZVZ is so short. How much longer will they try to milk the time? We will find out.
They should just make ZVZ's best of 5s, I think. It's a better way to do it.
Not a bad idea. All right, guys, we're ready. Game 2, Jaedong versus SoulKey. Right now, SoulKey with a 1-0 lead.
이클립스에서 게임을 시작합니다.
I get so confused when they switch the colors. I'm like,
I
just
know.
getting used to who's who.
No, there's just
All right,
where
so
my brain just breaks and I have to have you take over.
Yeah. Jaedong is top right and SoulKey is bottom left. Eclipse, probably the most played map for a while now.
What is, in Jaedong's tag, what is this, Bassford?
Oh, yeah. So these tags that you see on everyone, basically right now the pro gamers on AfreecaTV have put together these things that they call like academies, StarCraft academies, where they're teaching other streamers. Like all the pros have assembled themselves basically into coaching teams. And they coach, there's like this really large scene now of women pro, or well, not pro gamer, but like women StarCraft streamers. And they coach them a lot. Also, some guys are in there as well. And then they play matches against each other. There's like these big matches going on where the coached players are playing and the pros are like coaching them on stream and stuff. It's this whole... It's pretty popular, actually, on Africa.
Yeah, I heard about that. I didn't realize there was a correlation with that and that tag. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So that's just their affiliations.
So... We had Hatch first on both sides last time, and I think we're going to have it again here now. We have Jaedong going for a hatchery on 11. Same with SoulKey.
Maybe this is just the way to do it in two-player maps, you know?
Could be. We had some of these really weird builds in the past where, like, you could go for a super early pool and just run the Lings all the way around. Because drone scouting's not really a thing. And, you know, that ended some games, but it doesn't seem like it's going to happen this time around. And so Jaedong goes for the spawning pool, as does SoulKey. Jaedong about a fraction of a second ahead here, but right now everything is, you know, lining up pretty identically as far as build order decisions.
Yeah, and that's not actually SoulKey's fault. When your mineral patches are on the right, you can actually mineral boost more than when they're on the left, so he just gets like a slight mining advantage because of that.
Oh, is that right? Why is that because he can move his larva over to the right?
No, I mean, that does help SoulKey.
Wait, is it the right or the left? You can move the larva to?
You can move larva to the left of a hatchery.
Gotcha, okay.
And, you know, of course that can help a little bit, but specifically there's mineral boosting techniques for lots of different mineral patches. And when the mineral patches are on the right of the mining facility, generally the top patch can be boosted quite a bit to get ahead. And then there's like notice this drone going up and down at that patch vertically for SoulKey. Like, that's a mineral boost, right? That's vertical mining right there. So anytime you see a patch like that, you can put the worker on the edge of the patch, and they'll move in completely straight line, so they'll just mine more quickly. But there's multiple patches over on Jaedong's side where he can get slight advantages there. So, like, especially in ZVZ, it's really helpful if you have your minerals on the right-hand side for your main.
So they're both going to be sending Lings across the map. This feels like someone's going to have to back down here. They're going to just end up meeting over here on the kind of Badlands plateau. And did we see it? Did they go layer or speed first?
Oh, I'm not sure, actually.
I feel like they probably both went layer first.
Yeah, that makes sense. It generally is layer. And no speed on either side.
So it's going to be a bit of a slow start here. I mean, what is this drone going to do? Just probably throw a Spire down here, I would imagine. Yeah.
Look at that Spire from SoulKey. That's begging Lings to come in and pick it off. My God. What a rude Spire that is in SoulKey's base.
I think SoulKey has a few more drones. It seems like he has a little bit less Zerglings, if I'm seeing this correctly.
Oh, you might be right about that.
He has 8.
Starting to pop out a few more Lings now.
And so they both go for the second extractor. And so, you know, this is kind of a repeat of game 1. Oh, there he is, old Tooling.
there he goes.
Tooling is back.
Oh, look at that. Creep colony.
Whoa, what?
Oh,
that was cute. Okay. He just wanted to get a few more, like maybe drones out here before he had to make another Overlord. Okay.
Yeah, that was cool. This is a lot of Zerglings now, Tasteless. Look at this. Oh, my God. He actually kept Tooling away. The Toolings might actually be bad for him now. Looks like they're going to try to run in for some harassment, but that is a lot of Lings coming. I don't know that SoulKey's actually ready for this.
Yeah, SoulKey's going to back up. There's not a sunken colony in sight, but the angling is pretty good for him.
Yeah, SoulKey gets good surface area there at the beginning. Jaedong does start to push him back since he has more Lings. More Lings now hatching for SoulKey, and I think he has just enough coming down that Jaedong has to turn around.
Jaedong got shut down so hard back there. He tried to even run up the ramp, and that's when SoulKey had a perfect block. And, dude, I'm a little bit worried now. I mean, every unit is so precious in a game of StarCraft. Surely mutas are going to be hatching here for Jaedong, but the same has to be true here for SoulKey as well.
So now with the mutas coming out, let's see if Jaedong goes as deep on the map as he did previously. There is a SoulKey Overlord towards the top left, as there is a Jaedong one as well, so those are kind of the furthest ones from their bases. Single Ling comes in and sees the mutas going out towards SoulKey's base, so going to keep those mutas a little bit centralized right now. I love these Overlords in the top left meeting each other, by the way.
Oh,
Imagine the looks they're giving each other. Like, are mutas going to come kill us?
They're going to be staring each other down in the top left for now. Okay, so the mutas have gathered up over here. And, I mean, last time we basically saw Jaedong move out and SoulKey kind of got behind him. And then Jaedong suddenly realized he had overextended. This time around, it does seem like Jaedong has a little bit more of the initiative here.
Yeah. I'm not minding his position one bit, Tasteless. Like, he's combing the map really well. He has more blue dots forward on the map where those be Lings or Scourge that are scouting. And that, like, look at this. He's corralling his overlords back towards his main. Like, I like how Jaedong is moving around the map. This type of sweeping motion, right? Like, SoulKey. The thing is, SoulKey's not necessarily behind. It's just Jaedong has a bit more information. He has a bit more certainty.
And now he's in this position where he can start to hit the drones in the back over here. This is a very good target. Even the overlords are going to be great if he could try to snipe them.
Look at that. Backs off immediately. Some Lings trying to go for a bit of a counter. Jaedong going to come up and get some glaives on him, so that's kind of nice. Oh, and now we have the battle. This could decide it.
Oh, no. SoulKey has so many more Scourge, Artosis.
Oh, and he's getting moving shots here, but Scourge come down for Jaedong and get the connections. I think, actually, Jaedong is... Oh, does he not have enough with the Scourge following him still? He is still on the run.
Dude, he's clearly doing something wrong because SoulKey just pursues and comes in with, I think, what is fatal damage. I think Jaedong is out of the ASL, bro.
I think you are right about that, Tasteless. That is going to be that. GG is called, and Jaedong, despite some great plays so far in this tournament, is out in the round of 16, whereas SoulKey hits that coveted round of 8.
It's too bad for Jaedong, man, but I'll tell you, dude, I mean, he looked strong, but he didn't look strong enough in 2022 to go on to the round of 8. SoulKey, by the way, proving Artosis to be wrong. This guy can ZVZ when it matters most.
Yeah, I guess so. And taking out Jaedong is no easy feat. Hero as well, both very, very strong Zerg players. And you know what? This is, like, SoulKey has to be happy with this. If he just, I mean, he's a potential winner of this ASL.
Yeah, dude. I mean, you know, he did it here. He's always going to be a threat to these other players. And, of course, JYJ played amazingly today, too. We're going to have an interview with SoulKey. Excuse me. Let's see how he's feeling, man. He has done it. He has moved on to the round of 8, leaving us only left with Group D. I think that interview should be starting now.
Takes SoulKey longer to walk over there than win a best of 3 ZVZ. Damn.
They tell the Zerg players to move slower on ZVZ days. That way they milk more time in the show.
They all have to wear weighted suits.
All right, guys. SoulKey interview. Here it is.
약점을 강점으로 바꾼 남자. 오늘의 두 번째 주인공입니다. 철벽 저그 김민철 선수 만나보겠습니다. 축하드립니다.
감사합니다.
8강 진출 그 이상의 의미가 있을 오늘 16강 경기였던 것 같습니다. 저그전만을 준비하셨다고 말씀을 하셨는데 이렇게 극복을 해내고 본인의 발전을 또 이뤄내면서 8강 진출에 성공하셨습니다. 지금 기분 어떠신가요?
아직도 좀 얼떨떨해요. 지금도 아직 긴장이 좀 많이 되고 솔직히 저조차 저를 기대를 안 했는데 지금 팬분들은 얼마나 기쁠까라는 생각을 좀 하고 있어요.
계속해서 24강에서도 그렇고 16강 오늘 첫 번째 경기에서도 그렇고 김민철 선수가 좀 좌절할 만한 그림들이 좀 나왔습니다. 특히 이재동 선수와의 첫 번째 세트는 분명히 숫자적으로 좀 앞서고 있는, 물량이 좀 앞서고 있는 상황에서도 좀 패배를 했기 때문에 멘탈적으로 좀 흔들리지 않았을까 하는 생각도 들었거든요. 그땐 좀 어떠셨어요?
뭔가 좀 더 잘했으면 이길 수 있었을 거라고 생각을 했는데 그 게임 지고 좀 좌절이 좀 많이 됐어요. 나 자신한테 좀 실망하기도 했고 해가지고 또 심지어 또 이제 제동 형이 또 승자전에서 지더라고요. 그래서 너무 힘들겠는데 이 생각을 했었어요. 근데 너무 좀 운이 좋게 잘 풀렸던 것 같아요.
그렇지만 김민철 선수가 그동안 이뤄왔던 커리어가 그냥 만들어진 게 아니라는 걸 오늘 경기를 통해서 좀 확인할 수 있었습니다. 조일장 선수와의 패자전부터 손이 좀 풀리기 시작하신 것 같아요. 드론 컨트롤로 모든 피해를 좀 최소화하는 모습, 정말 철벽다운 모습을 패자전에서 좀 봤다고 느꼈거든요. 패자전부터 좀 느낌이 오셨나요?
패션 1경기 때도 사실 상대 빌드 보고 또 지나 이 생각을 하긴 했는데 어떻게 또 그게 링으로 피해를 주면서 그런 상황이 나왔던 것 같아요. 그것도 사실 운이 좀 좋았다고 생각하면서 이 경기에는 좀 자신감이 생겼어요. 그 다음에는 최종전에서도 이제 자신감 생긴 바탕으로 빌드를 선택을 했고요. 그래가지고 좋은 결과가 나온 것 같아요.
정말 저저전만은 피하고 싶어 했던 김민철 선수가 오늘 모든 경기를 저저전으로 치러내고 결국 8강까지 올라가시네요. 앞으로의 8강 경기 김민철 선수 이제 정말 김민철 선수에게 가장 높은 산은 뛰어넘었다는 생각이 들어서 다전제 좀 기대해봐도 될 것 같은데 어쨌든 한 명의 저그가 또 아직은 있습니다. 8강에서 만날 수 있는 김성대 선수가
그렇죠.
만날 수 있는 가능성으로 남아있는데요. 8강은 좀 어떨 것 같으신가요?
진짜 근데 저저전이 너무 피말리더라고요. 이번에도 정말 저저전 연습만 하면서 좀 힘들었는데 8강에서는 안 붙었으면 좋겠거든요. 저그 대 저그전은 웬만하면 이현경 아나운서님이 안 뽑아주셨으면 좋겠고요.
네네.
이번에 근데 저저전 정말 연습을 많이 했는데 그중에서 도움 많이 준 분들이 많거든요.
네, 말씀해 주시죠.
일단 명훈 형이나 뭐 듀얼이 잠깐만요. 재혁이 형 이렇게 해서 성대까지 도와줬었거든요. 그리고 윤한 형은 빌드적인 부분에서 좀 도움을 많이 줬어요. 그래서 오늘 뭐 빌드가 사실 그렇게 압도적으로 먹진 않았어요. 빌드를 이기진 않았지만 정신적 지주가 됐던 것 같아요. 윤한 형이 약간 제 멘탈을 좀 잡을 수 있게끔 한 부분이 있지 않나 싶어서 오늘 윤한 형한테도 좀 고맙다고 생각을 하고 있습니다.
오늘도 저그 대 저그전 극복하는 모습을 김민철 선수가 보여주셨기 때문에 저는 내일 좀 부담 없이 추첨을 하도록 하겠습니다. 네. 자, 그럼 끝으로 김민철 선수 팬분들에게 한마디 또 전해주시죠.
네, 요새 이제 아무래도 대학판이 활발하다 보니까 저도 이제 남순 이사장님이 이끄는 NSU에 들어가 있는데 이게 뭔가 소속감이 생기니까 더 뭔가 잘하고 싶다라는 생각이 들더라고요. 저도 그리고 NSU 들어오고 나서부터도 기운이 지금 좋아서 8강까지도 올라오게 된 것 같은데 이 기운 꼭 받아서 우승까지 노려보도록 하겠습니다. 네, 감사합니다.
네, 이번 시즌 김민철 선수의 모습 기대하겠습니다. 축하드립니다.
감사합니다.
ASL 시즌 13 16강 C조 경기 모두 만나보셨습니다. 오늘의 두 번째 8강 진출자 김민철 선수와 함께했습니다.
All right, so there you have it. JYJ just slamming his way out of the group, and SoulKey not too bad.
Yeah, dude, he knows how to ZVZ. I'll give him that, man. And JYJ, I think a big hope here for the Terran players. I know we don't have a lot of them right now in the round of 8, but he's definitely one to watch for, along with Light, of course.
Well, you look at this round 8 so far, it is looking fantastic. We have 2 Zergs, 3 Terran, and only a single Protoss. Tasteless, this is exactly how round of 8 should look. We shouldn't even play Group D.
And it could end up getting like very Zerg heavy, or we're going to have some Protosses and Zergs here as we wrap up the final group. And I mean, Group D, man, no Terrans.
Yeah, that's right. So we could get a golden balance coming in. A couple Protoss players getting through. That would be probably perfect, but I think Best is going to have a hard time with that. Or otherwise, like it could be Bisu coming through with one of these 2 Zergs. I mean, if it's both Zergs, man, it's only Rain in the round of 8, which is kind of crazy for Protoss.
That's nuts when you consider how many Protosses we started out with. I mean, this was kind of the dream team lineup of Protoss players, but round of 16, man, they've been thinned out. Bisu, though, man, you think Bisu's in shape to actually move on, Artosis?
Dude, his PVZ was something else in the round of 24. So yeah, I think he definitely has the potential to do it. And I think he can take the ideas that Mini has been running around with, add them to his own style, and we can just see like a new age of Protoss dominating Zerg. I think it's possible.
Yeah, Best, I think you're right. I think Best really, it's hard to imagine him getting out. He's very good. He does seem to fumble a lot in ASL. He plays all these crazy, amazing show matches. You know, online, and always looks good. But then when it comes to especially tough groups like ASL, he's always never able to perform, really.
Yeah, he seems like someone who should have won a championship, but just can't really make it that deep. So we'll see how he does in that group. It's a tough one for him. But guys, it has been a fun night with a lot of Zerg vs. Zerg. We hope that you guys have enjoyed. And thank you once again for everyone who supports us on the Patreon, patreon.com/ASL English.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to get Group D out to you ASAP. We love you. Take care. Bye-bye.
ASL 시즌 13 언리미티드